Victory Lane has been an exciting place. Which driver will get there today? Not one of the drivers in the field today have won at this racetrack. Here's today's starting grid, brought to you by Crayon.com. Up front, Josh Berry won the pole, his first career pole, but he hit the wall, so he has to go to the rear. They made some adjustments. And then back in row 5, you see William Byron, a former champion of the series, a Cup regular, and he will start in that 10th position.
Yeah, row 6, we have Ryan Sieg starting alongside the youngest driver in the field, Sam Mayer, the 19-year-old, one of the 2 teenagers. Right behind them, Riley Herbst and Brett Moffitt. Riley already has 12 top 10s this season, only had 13 a year ago, so he's almost matching last year's totals.
A little bit further back in row 11, Derrick Griffith of Hudson, New Hampshire. It's a home race for him, just about an hour away.
And Josh Williams back in row 15, always exciting to watch. A little bit farther, you see some other drivers going to the rear. That's a struggle at this racetrack. Hard to pass, Rick, and gonna have to get moving quick. It's a short first and second stage.
All right, Jeff, let's dial up Josh Berry. He's got a busy day in front of him.
Hey, Josh, guys up in the booth, you got us?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, man, I know it's a little bit of a challenge going to the back. How hard do you think it'll be to get back up front?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough. You know, obviously we had a good lap in qualifying, but not a perfect lap, and you know, that's a little bit on me. But it's a great opportunity for us today to show what we're made of. I got a great group, got a great sponsor, Tire Pros behind me, all their dealers. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, you don't have a ton of experience here, but how are you going to get through this pack? What do you need your car to do, and where do you have to put it?
Well, I feel like we need to be strong on the bottom of the track, I feel like, and we worked on that some in practice, actually, and felt pretty good about it. So we're just going to have to go where they're not. Just try to get up there as close as we can, as soon as we can, and just set ourselves up for that final stage.
All right, buddy, good luck. We'll be watching.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll be riding along. It's going to be a great view from the Xfinity onboard that Josh Berry is carrying. Again, he has to fall to the rear, so that's why it will be an exciting view from that Xfinity onboard.
It won't be that clear when he has to start back there, and Trevor Bayne has the Toyota onboard camera. Pretty good starting spot, only a few rows in front of him.
A few more stories before the green flag flies. We start with Kim.
Joe Gibbs Racing has won the last 6 Xfinity races here at the Magic Mile. Brandon Jones wants to get them the 7th straight. Brandon told me this morning they had a really good car last year before getting caught up in an accident, so he sees this as a redemption race for the team, Marty.
William Byron admitted to me yesterday, hey, I picked this race for the Xfinity Series because I needed more laps here. I just need more experience here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. He'll be in the 88 this afternoon. Going to be fun to watch him, but when he comes down pit road, he might as well be in the 24 car. Look at the signs, trying to keep it very simple for him, Jeff, to say, hey, you're in the 24 tomorrow. Let's look for the signs you normally see every week. In the 88, but on pit road, you might as well be in the 24.
Well, that's a pretty smart move.
I think it's a really smart move. I have driven through my pit box before when I had a car change, drove straight through it looking for my old car number. I think that's really smart.
All right, Steve, it's a fast one. 200 laps. Break the race down for us.
Yeah, it's the Magic Mile because it's basically 1 mile per lap. Fuel window, about 80 to 85 laps. But listen, it gets started in a hurry. Stage 1, only 45 laps. Stage 2, only 45 laps. That leaves a very long Stage 3, over 110 laps. That means you're going to have to put some fuel in the car at some point. That's really the key to today. I think 1 and 2 are easy to call from on top of the pit box. It's that final stage. Will we have a yellow to make the decision easier, or will we have a lot of yellows and then put the pressure on the crew chief? When is the right yellow to come to pit road?
All right, I know that neither of you chose the 18 of Trevor Bayne to win this race. I think both of you were on board with the 88 as far as picking for the win. But Trevor Bayne has been picked for a possible winner from our crew. Let's listen into the pep talk they had.
Hey guys, this is the one. We've been saying this time for too long. Get us a W today. The way we do that is by doing our job as best we can, not making any mistakes. No mistakes today is an empty game. Go get it done, guys. Thank y'all for fast race cars every time we show up.
He's definitely not kidding about that. So far, 5 races this season, and 4 of them have been top 10. 3 have been top 5.
And, you know, we talked to him back at Nashville when NBC got the second half of the year, and he was very to the point where he knows he's driving good equipment. His words, it's time for him to win one. Kind of like that pep talk right there. Stop talking about it. Let's win a race. I like that attitude, Jeff. I like when an athlete is willing to put the bullseye back on himself and say, hey, it's time for me to show everyone what I'm made of.
Well, you talked about Joe Gibbs Racing's dominance at this racetrack. He comes here knowing that those cars have always run fast here. So this is an opportunity for him. He also has developed even more confidence after being out of a car for a long time to get in a car and have speed the way he's had it. That's got to gain him some confidence coming to this racetrack. Driving a Gibbs car, man's got to feel good.
Well, at an oval, driving a junior motorsports car also feels pretty good. What about Sam Mayer, Marty?
Yeah, just one race under his belt here, and that was a 39th place finish, so didn't get many laps either, and had a very interesting question before he rode off pit road. Listen.
In California, if I put my right side on the seam, would that make me free or would that tighten me up?
At California?
Yeah.
I'd probably slip on the seams.
So, Steve, you got to credit the young driver for at least thinking, right? He's asking questions, so trying to see what he can and maybe can't use here at New Hampshire. There's seams in this racetrack, just like at California, to Sam's point.
Yeah, I like the inquisitive nature of this driver. I had a conversation. There's a good look at the seams right there with Taylor Moyer, his crew chief, and I kind of asked Taylor, hey, man, what changed? Like, we started the year, your driver was fast, but, some mistakes. Had a hard time getting it to the finish, and he said, to be honest, 80%. I tell him, Jeff, every week, I only need 80%. You're so good that don't put yourself into a mistake, right? Take a deep breath, ride around here 80%. Now, Taylor doesn't mean 80% because he doesn't have to try. What he's meaning is he actually tries too hard most of the time. And once, I mentioned, right, he's the youngest driver in the field. So this is a big learning curve for him. And Taylor speaks very highly of his talent. He just needs him to control the day and be patient.
The key for a young driver is when to try to give 100%, right? When is the appropriate time? Because you're always driving as fast as you can, but when do you try to go find a little more speed? When do you have to get aggressive to get that track position? Understanding that is what's really important in the development of a young driver.
And Rick, as we saw the 8 stop, as you had mentioned, giving up his starting position, I believe that penalty is bigger this year than perhaps any other year. This Xfinity Series field is deeper than ever. There are a solid 15 cars in here that I think can win a race, another 5 that have a great shot of running in the top 5. That's 20 cars at what I consider a decent speed. It's going to be hard for Barry to drive his way up inside the top 20.
And not a lot of time. 45 laps in the first stage, 45 in the second stage, 110 in the third stage. As we get ready, it's Allgaier and Hemrick. Justin Allgaier on the inside, Daniel Hemrick on the outside, and flagman Matt Lennick gives him the green flag. We're underway. Magic Mile.
Already they're stacking up on that start. That's going to happen all day long at this racetrack. Restarts are treacherous even on the straight.
Down on the apron they're even using here. Back and forth position there. Brandon Jones, the 19, trying the outside line now.
Oh, Allgaier really loose on the bottom. That red car, we talked about it, Steve. You've got that bottom lane, but if the guy on the outside can make it work, he really puts a lot of pressure on trying to make your car stick. Very difficult.
And that right there, just a perfect example of New Hampshire. That blue and white number 10 of Landon Castle, that college racing entry. At most tracks you go to, if you're on the inside or the bottom of the racetrack, that's the preferred lane. That's definitely where you want to be to pass. Here, it feels good all the way to the middle, but hard to get on quarter exits. We watch right here, Ty Gibbs. He's going to try to make a move on Hemrick, another college racing car. And, it's easy to kind of chase him in and get to the middle. It's power down on quarter exit that's so difficult from the bottom of the racetrack.
Hemrick has the point, but Ty Gibbs, 4-time winner already in the Xfinity Series this year, looking to get that top spot.
So we talked about the start. Look back in the pack. You're going to see this all day, Steve. You cannot see more than one car ahead of you. If they stack up in these narrow straights with long front straightaways, no D shape where you can look to the left like a normal lot of ovals, battle for the lead, and we're going to see drivers driving in the back of each other all day long on restart.
Ty Gibbs all over Daniel Hemrick as he's fighting for the lead.
This is going to be a great test of Ty Gibbs' patience. Much been made out of his aggression. A lot of comments about how rough he's been. He went to Road America, he won, he passed Kyle Larson without a contact. Now you're at perhaps the most frustrating racetrack on the circuit to pass. 54 is faster. He's going to continue to get to the inside of the 11. But if he doesn't either move the 11 up or make a mistake. It is going to be so hard, and now Trevor Bayne is attacking the 54, Marty.
Well, Steve, were you in the meeting with Chris Gale and Ty Gibbs this morning? That's exactly what Chris Gale told Ty Gibbs. Remember, Ty has never been here. He didn't run an East race here, but never here in the Xfinity Series. It almost is a three-way battle for the lead now. And he said, you have to be patient. Do not let other drivers goad you into a mistake. Jeff, how easy is it for a driver to make a mistake and drive too deep into the corners at New Hampshire?
Well, it's where you can make up so much ground, Marty. There's an opportunity to always overdrive the entry into turn one. Watch Ty Gibbs right here. Drives the car in deep, just uses the racetrack, runs him completely out of the groove, and now Trevor Bayne going to take advantage of it. So
Bayne.
A slide job, you're right, kind of a slide job gone bad right there.
Bayne, as he was watching the two fight for the top spot, said, I've got an opportunity here. I'm going to take advantage of it. And Trevor Bayne's leading now in New Hampshire.
It's so tempting at this racetrack to do exactly what Ty Gibbs did right there. Drive the car way down in the corner. Let's go back and watch it again. So Ty Gibbs right now has a really good run, and he's just going to go to the left side, and now he's committed. I'm driving this thing in the corner, and look how loose he got on corner entry, and now he's up the racetrack. So he was already at terminal velocity, Steve. If he tried to go faster, he was going to lose the back of the car. That's what he tried to do. Up the racetrack, they both
there.
You know, and there are moments in each race where you talk about a driver's talent. We could talk about how good the 54 is, the Joe Gibbs Racing. That right there was pure talent, because that 54, there are other people in this field that would have been the end of their day. They would have backed that car in. Great job by Ty Gibbs saving the car itself. Let's take a listen to the second place competitor, Daniel Hemrick.
Like, what the dude? Lap 5, so this race is like complete.
And that's the competitor's opinion of Ty Gibbs, right? It's a great move for the fans. It's exciting to watch, but, you know, Daniel Hemrick is like, dude, we're 5 laps into this race, and you are backing your car into the corner, taking me up the racetrack.
They were teammates last year at Joe Gibbs Racing.
Looked like he was going to try it again, and looking all the way to the inside. Ty Gibbs again fighting for that second spot with Hemrick, Kim.
And crew chief Alex Johns had told me how positive Hemrick was. So despite that radio you just heard from Daniel, he does remain positive, and part of that is in his ear, what the team is telling him. They told him after that incident, stay positive, look out your front windshield, and just keep on trucking.
You know, Kim, I love that. I mean, you can't do anything about what the guy underneath you did. You know, fortunately you didn't get in a wreck. You lost the lead, but now you just got to move forward. You got to go make as much lap time as you can. Don't get caught up in what happened. It's a long way to go in this race.
And as we see some of these younger drivers getting frustrated, moving into the picture is that champ we talked about, right? William Byron in that 88 blue and white Junior Motorsports entry with HendrickCars.com on it. Pretty well-recognized paint scheme. Here you go. You drive to the bottom. Diamond as much as you're allowed. Try to get a straight shot off, but no. Williams it's going to take him a little bit to kind of reacclimate to the Xfinity Series. He was in the Cup car earlier this morning, but I expect to see him, matriculate to the front as now we see the 54. This is where you got to slide up and take this spot, Jeff.
Yeah, now he's completely clear. A clean pass. He was clearly faster than Hemrick. Just needed to find a way around him. The other thing, Steve, I think is really, you saw him wave his hand. You saw Ty Gibbs, once he got by the 11, put his hand out the window. That's a driver's way of saying, hey, man, sorry. Like, that was on me, sorry. And, that's all you can do. You can't have a face-to-face conversation during a race.
And, Rick, I've learned over time that really calms another driver down. Hand out the window. They really love that. Hey, man, sorry for messing up your day.
He waved at me, guys. So everything's okay now.
All good.
All good.
Ice cream sundaes for everyone.
Working to the inside now. Landon Castle is giving William Byron a little bit of a fit here as Castle trying to take that spot. Trevor Bayne out front here in New Hampshire.
Joe Gibbs Racing cars dominating this race early on. To no surprise, Joe Gibbs Racing has been strong here in New Hampshire. In fact, they lead the series in wins with 11 at this racetrack, and they led 75% of the laps here in the last 3 races. Also, to no surprise, seeing Ty Gibbs up there early on. He has 4 wins already this season. Ty totaled 4 wins last season in his debut year in the Xfinity Series, not quite full-time. Now this season already, still with 9 races go before we start the playoffs, the most wins in the series with 4. Ty Gibbs, to no surprise, strong here early on as Joe Gibbs Racing dominates these early laps.
Download the official app of NASCAR. You can follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras as well as a radio broadcast. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial. It's the Crayon 200 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And right now, the top 2 are Joe Gibbs Racing drivers. We've talked a lot about that with Bain and Gibbs. The other story of the race is Josh Berry in the 8th, having to start in the back. Kim's, how is he doing?
He's doing pretty well, currently running in the 24th position, and Josh told me they thought long and hard on whether or not they wanted to give up that P1 starting spot. Ultimately, they decided they'd rather be safe than sorry, so I asked him, where do you want to be at the end of stage 1 after dropping to the rear of the field? He said, ideally, we want to end stage 1 in the 15th position. Currently, Barry runs in the 24th. Marty, they have 26 laps to hit that goal.
Right now, William Byron sitting in the 5th position. So why is William Byron, a former series champ, in this race? I asked him that question. He's trying to pass for the 4th position there around Daniel Hemrick. Looks like he might get it done. And he simply told me this is a racetrack that, to me, is so difficult to learn. Now, it was easy for guys like you, Jeff Burton, right? You were so successful here in your career. But he said, I just have had a difficult time picking up what works at this racetrack and why it works. So, Jeff, even though you were good here, where would you rank New Hampshire as a place that's difficult to learn, even for a former series champ like William Byron?
You know, I think it's way up there, Marty, and the reason why is because it's ever changing. Every time you come to this racetrack, it's a little different, and the car drives differently in every lane. And so, you know, you get your car set up, you feel good, then you go and you got to do what Ty Gibbs is trying to do right here and make the pass, and now it drives completely different because you're running somewhere else. So it's an ever-changing racetrack.
For the lead, though, a lot of pressure being put on the 18 of Trevor Bain. Ty Gibbs hugging that double white line at the bottom of the racetrack, even to the apron. Can't make the pass that time.
This is such a unique racetrack. So if you look where Trevor Bain is running, you can see in that in-car camera, that Toyota camera, you can see those seams. Those seams are important because that lower groove has less banking. So as Ty Gibbs enters the corner right here, he has less racetrack helping him. It's really flat down there where he is. Trevor has more banking up where he is. Ty obviously making that pass look easy, but that is why it's difficult. It's just a changing of the angle of banking.
There's Coach Joe Gibbs watching on as his 2 drivers right now are fighting for the lead. Right now it's his grandson Ty Gibbs out in front.
Your line looks really good there. Catching the 6th car, he's right in the way.
A little bit of a handful there for 18 of Trevor Bain that we just saw as they come up on Ryan Vargas in the 6. And they'll put Ryan a lap down. Listen in to AJ Allmendinger's radio.
I don't know, man. It's just like the same thing. I do like that line a little better right there. But it's slower. It looks nicer, but it's slower.
He was talking and lost 210, so we just got to keep him calm, get back to doing what we were doing earlier.
Yep. Just less talking is good.
So when I think about racetracks and AJ Allmendinger, the road courses are obvious, but then other tracks you can attack. He's an aggressive style driver. We have to remember he was created, his resume started in kart, champ kart, and aggressive open wheel racing. And this being just a flat, slick, low grip racetrack, I just don't know if this suits his style. Now, that doesn't mean he can't be good here. He's qualified well here in the past. He's had good runs. It's just, you know, I know how quickly he gets frustrated without car feedback, without it telling him what he needs, and you could kind of almost hear it in his voice. He's a little just flabbergasted over what he needs running in the 7th position.
Allmendinger chasing after Landon Castle, also out of the colleague racing stables, as well as the 11 of Hemrick, which is right in front of him. So 5th, 6th, and 7th, all colleague. In the battle of Joe Gibbs Racing versus Junior Motorsports, it looks like the battle might be within Joe Gibbs Racing. We just saw Trevor Bayne looking to the inside of Ty Gibbs for the lead once again. So now the 18 coming back to life.
A little surprising right here. It looked like to me Ty Gibbs was much faster than Trevor Bayne. Got by him. Trevor looked loose getting in the corner, especially up here in turn 1. We rode along with him earlier. Right here we saw his hands move to the right. But now the 54 car, Steve, has gotten in front of him. Maybe that's actually moving the aero balance a little bit more and kind of helping the car get in the racetrack. Although it won't be better behind his car, sometimes it can cover up a loose condition.
And it can also give you a little bit of a judgment point on your overall speed. Maybe you were driving in too deep. Maybe you were getting back to the gas too early. If you follow another car as talented as Trevor Bayne is, and all right, so the 54 caught me and he passed me. I'm going to tip my hat to him and say he's faster at the moment. But what is he doing? And if I try to make my car maybe match the speed of his in certain areas, now all of a sudden your car is handling better and being able to go back on the attack.
I love this shot right here. It just shows you what Trevor Bayne is dealing with. So they both kind of want to run the same line, right? So how are you going to make this pass? If your fastest line is where your competitor is, how do you make this work? Marty.
And Jeff, you got to give Trevor Bayne credit, the veteran behind the wheel. When actually the 54 went by him the first time, Trevor Bayne wheel hop, got really loose. That's how the 54 was able to pull off that pass so easily. Didn't let it bother him, kind of recollected himself, and now he is challenging for the lead once again, Kim.
Justin Allgaier running in that 3rd position. Remember, during pre-race, he told us we're good, but we're not the favorite. And currently on that car, he's saying, I need more landing with the front end, more turn in the car, all without hurting the rear of the car. So, Steve, sounds a little easier said than done.
If I knew what adjustment made the car turn without hurting drive off, I'd be still on a pit box. You know, I say that, you know, somewhat joking, but that's the challenge. It's all a compromise. You can't just add grip to the rear of the car for drive off or add grip to the front of the car. Everything is a compromise. So my question back would be, okay, I can make the car turn better, Jeff. Maybe that'll actually let you get some wheel out of the car and drive straighter off the corner. That's how it's going to help the drive off. You're going to have to put the car in the right position.
Stevie, if you could fix all those problems, you wouldn't be on the pit box. You would be somewhere else floating on on a boat near an island, because that's what we've been looking for forever in racing.
Well, add another car to the top 3 here as far as battling for the lead. The 7 of Allgaier coming to life as well, but it's Ty Gibbs out front.
Two laps complete here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That 7 of Justin Allgaier just passed for the 2nd place position. Started this race in 3rd, now running 2nd. Junior Motorsports, to no surprise, starting strong here today. They have 9 wins. Excuse me, they have 7 wins this season, including 5 of the last 9. And the best of the Junior Motorsports cars, as I mentioned, Justin Allgaier running 2nd, but the worst of the Junior Motorsports cars right now, Josh Berry. He started this race fastest in qualifying on the pole, but unfortunately, having scraped the wall, had to move to the back. Oh, looks like some on-track action. The 45 goes around, and the caution is out for an incident on the front stretch. Julia Landauer in the 45, making her Xfinity Series debut. Doesn't look like too much damage. Oh, there is a decent amount of damage there. It looks like she hit the inside wall. I'll keep you updated, but that could potentially be the end of the day here for that 45 team, and Julia Landauer making her Xfinity Series debut.
Saw it all in NASCAR nonstop under the first caution of the day. Julia Landauer and the 7 of Allgaier have contact, and the 45 goes around. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, things get tight here on exit of New Hampshire. Just it almost looks like she wasn't as far to the wall as Justin thought she was. This is a better angle right here.
Yeah, there was a couple feet there, so I don't know if Justin thought she was going to continue to move up to the wall. This is going to be another good shot because as they start to get head on, let's take a look.
Yeah, she started. He was just expecting her to go right to the wall. She went a little bit left, and he was expecting her to be going right, and then make contact.
She goes around.
Well, and now this unfortunate situation for the 45 opens up a lot of opportunity for the rest of the field. We talked about, how do you consume these races? When do you pit? When do you move along? And well, I look at the 8 of Josh Berry. This perhaps is the perfect time for him, right? He's worked his way up to the 19th, so he can decide if they all pit or if they don't pit. He can almost do the opposite. So right now, you have to ask, like, Ty Gibbs and Allgaier might stay on the racetrack because they want to try to get some points. But like the 88 of Byron, he's not here for points. Does he come and get tires now, or do you do the opposite of what these guys do? So the majority of the leaders pit. We'll see if anybody stays out. Pretty full on pit road, Kim.
And Justin Allgaier busy on the radio after that incident, trying to determine, was it my fault? They told him, let it go, focus on the race. As you see the 7 car in his pit stall, he'll check the right front after incident with Julia Landauer. You see the tire going on, and that wheel rub right there, too, as they go to the other side, Marty.
Yeah, I think the interesting play here is to come down pit road to give up track position so you can keep it later. Pit here, you can make it all the way to the end of stage 2. It also gives you a set of tires for the end of the race. William Byron saying his car got too free as they ran. Ty Gibbs pretty happy with his car and easily wins the race off pit road. Says his car was a little bit too tight at the beginning of that run.
You saw the penalty for the 88. When you don't run every single week, you don't get a great pit pick, and therefore, look at it, -6 spots. No one's fault. It's a short pit road, very tight pit road. You're going to see he's going to try to leave. The 2 is absolutely in the way. He had to back up.
under caution here during stage 1 at New Hampshire for an incident on track between Julia Landauer and potentially the 7 car there of Justin Allgaier. In fact, we heard Justin on the radio to spotter Eddie DeHaan asking exactly what happened there, wondering if it was his fault. Eddie said, don't worry about it, just focus on the race. But it was funny because Justin was actually watching the replay himself on the big screen. Now, this is a mile-long track, and there is a big screen in the middle, so Justin, under caution laps, was able to watch himself back and analyze exactly what happened. But that incident really is just a testament to this place. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, they call it the Magic Mile. It's Northeastern short track racing at its finest, and this is a place where short track racing of all kinds is really important. In fact, later today we have the modifieds racing here as well. So just kind of a funny story there to put you in the atmosphere of New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. The global IT consultants at Crayon. Navigate your digital future with Crayon. And by Ford. Built Ford proud. Winding down the laps in stage 1 from New Hampshire under our first caution. There's the 45 of Julia Landauer. It's been 3 years since she has been on an oval in a stock car. She talked about that on her social media. And want to look at this again, this accident, as she's coming out of 4, the 7 and the 45 make contact.
Yeah, you see the 7 of Justin Allgaier, he moves up the racetrack. I think that he believes that she is going to be all the way to the wall, and she's not completely to the wall. And also, look behind him. That 88 car is putting pressure on him. He's like, I got to go, I got to go. In my opinion, I think Justin could have been a little more patient right there, giving her a little more room. You know, there's a rookie stripe on the back of that car, and probably, you know, pay attention to that a little bit.
You don't have to ride right against the wall. So anyway, let's just shake all this off, and we'll get back going. We got to start at the tail end of the longest line anyway, pitting on our closed pit road.
That was from the 45 radio.
The problem is that you see how much damage she has to her car.
That's the issue.
She's not going to learn anything, right? I mean, that's the problem for a young driver. Let's listen to what they were having a conversation about this wreck with the 7 of Allgaier.
Dude, she came off the wall.
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean, I don't know. If it's my fault, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I think it's a fair assumption. You know, I don't think she did anything egregious that, like, you know, should have got her turned around, but in the end she was backwards, and now we're coming to a interesting restart with some old tires up front. Marty.
You just hate it for Julia Landauer making her first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series start. Her whole goal today, she said, just complete all the laps. She did say earlier this week, I hope to be back later this year. And Jeff, to your point, all she wanted was experience this afternoon and to stay out of the way. This is certainly not what she wanted here in stage 1.
Well, Marty, she's a survivor, literally. She's a survivor because she was on the show Survivor season 26. But she obviously involved in the first incident that took place here at the Magic Miles. We get ready for the restart. Sieg and Brown holding up the inside line.
You have a mix, 8 cars stay on the racetrack, and that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. You see the 54, 3rd car on the bottom. He's going to try to get on the apron, but even with brand new tires, it's just hard to go anywhere. That pink number 18. Now there's Allmendinger through the middle in that 16 car.
Yeah, the 4 holding everyone up. Bailey Curry going the wrong direction as everybody, as you mentioned, Steve, with fresher tires fighting for track position. Now 3 laps to go in stage 1. 4 wide as they enter 1.
You mentioned that pink 18 of Trevor Bayne. He knows how important track position is on this racetrack. He was trying everything he could, 3 wide on the outside, trying to go to the middle, go to the inside, anything you could do, but it just did not work out for him.
Ryan Sieg is out there leading this race by over 7/10 of a second. You know, he's in a playoff battle. He's trying to get some points at the end of this stage.
They stay 3 wide with William Byron in the middle, back there fighting for position. Sieg, Brandon Brown, Ty Gibbs has made his way up to 3rd, and still very tight real estate.
That's
Both
one of those
sides.
I'm not sure that Byron wanted to move up or his car just decided it was going to move up.
Gibbs taking second away from Brandon Brown. Here comes A.J. Allmendinger as well in the 16.
That whole exchange, the big winner and all that, is that 16 car of A.J. Allmendinger.
Allmendinger trying to get by the 23 of Anthony Alfredo. Final lap of stage 1, and Ryan Sieg still out front as Allmendinger trying to get by Brandon Brown. So even after coming to pit road, Gibbs and Allmendinger have a great restart, get back up toward the front. William Byron in the 88 also making the moves, but it's Ryan Sieg who's going to win stage 1 here at the Magic Mile. Fourth career stage win for Ryan Sieg, who stayed out and made it work for him. Brandon Brown ends up in 5th after also staying out. The big moves by Gibbs, Allmendinger, and Byron getting into the top 5.
Stage 1 is complete here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That 39 of Ryan Sieg is your Stage 1 winner. Stayed out during that caution, elected not to pit and pick up those playoff points instead. Ryan Sieg, he's the second driver above the playoff cut line right now, 81 points to the good. As far as his runs here in New Hampshire, he finished 13th here last year. He's got 9 top 10s so far in 18 races this season. His best finish came at Talladega in 4th. That's again Ryan Sieg in that 39, your Stage 1 winner here at New Hampshire.
You can go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner for only $2.99 per month. That means you can listen in on pit strategy. There's spotter communication. Just log in the app to use on mobile devices. You can visit NASCAR.com/scanner. So at the end of the stage, we saw a little bit of bumping and banging going on with the 9 and the 11.
Yeah, some pushing and shoving. Everett takes some shots at the 9 and now down the backstretch. Oh, yeah, the 9.
Right up in front of the 11.
Yeah. Pretty exciting times. Now we're going to see the drivers that stayed on the racetrack to try to score those stage points are going to come to pit road, Kim.
And you see at the top of your screen, Brandon Brown. Actually, for all 3 of these drivers, they were looking for points, and they got it with that stage. Brandon Brown, it's going to be a 4-tire change there. Anthony Alfredo, he said he just needs a little bit more drivability. It looks like they're having significant trouble on that right front, getting that tire off. It's going to be a very slow stop. As Ryan Sieg finishing up his service, getting tires there, they told him on the radio, we're making an air pressure adjustment. You won that stage, bud. That's the good news. The bad news, it's going to be a heck of a fight, strategy-wise, for the rest of this race.
So the positives and the negatives. You won the stage, but right now it's going to be a big fight from where we're going to restart. Gibbs will be up front when we come back. A lot of great racing tomorrow on USA as well as Peacock. We've got countdown to green and Cup Series racing from right here in New Hampshire on USA. At 3 o'clock on Peacock exclusively is the NTT IndyCar Racing from Toronto. Colton Herta won the pole. He will lead the field to green. And let's go to the Peacock pit box and DJ and Brad.
All right, DJ, track position, track position. So difficult to pass. How do you advance yourself as we go into this second stage? What are these guys thinking up front on how they're going to get themselves all the way up front?
Yeah, that was the best opportunity right there to adjust on your car. You're not going to have many chances. Short race, but I think that a number of drivers probably needed a little bit of help. Sound like a lot of them getting loose there. I paid attention to Josh Berry. He did not run hard at all the first 15 laps, just kind of setting himself up. They made a good call with the pit strategy. They've got themselves up here at the top 10 now. I think he's got the car to win the race. We'll see now that he's up there with his competition.
Rick, it sounds like it's a strategic move by Josh Berry. Let's see what happens.
Well, his strategy called for him restarting on the outside of the row. We just saw that from the choose cone. So he'll be outside for sure the 98 as you look at the choose rule and where everybody chose. The outside line for Gibbs. Allmendinger will be on the inside, making up row 1.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Berry was fortunate because 6 or 7 of those cars that stayed out to try to score stage points were running in front of him. So that way, when they peeled off to pit at the end of the stage, that's like a gift-wrapped 8 spots. Marty.
We saw Noah Gregson and the 11 car Daniel Hemrick a little tete-a-tete into that caution, right? What happened was Noah coming to the checkered, green checker there, wheel hopped and accidentally got into the 11, but the message did not get to Daniel Hemrick quick enough. So he repaid it. Hopefully everybody's calmed down now as we come back to the green here in stage 2, Rick.
Yeah, I hope everybody's gotten calmed back down, but this is a different restart rig. 5 laps on tires. This place is such a difficult place to restart. Let's see who makes Griffin 1 and who doesn't.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger, the car on the inside, definitely spun the rear tires. Jeff, to your point, didn't get going compared to Ty Gibbs on the outside.
How about William Byron in the 88s early on, putting pressure now on Allmendinger for second. 54 trying to get the tires warmed up still. Saw him wiggling down the backstretch out in front, but a great center off for the 88 of William Byron. Pretty wide back here, that 48 driven by Ty Dillon. A lot of news out of his camp as far as the Cup Series goes. Ty Dillon won't be with Penny GMS on the Cup Series in 2023. So this might be an audition for Ty Dillon in the 48 and the Xfinity Series.
Top of the screen, you just see how everyone gets stacked up right there. A couple Junior Motorsports cars side by side with the 7 and the 9, and Trevor Bayne trying to clear the 10. Man, you're just waiting for that magical clear from your spotter. That last 6 inches or a foot you need to move up the racetrack.
I think both of those drivers right there have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. Landon Castle, Trevor Bayne, very similar. You know, getting good rides. This is the best rides they've had. Hungry to get them, and now they're both trying to take advantage of it.
Best ride in the Xfinity Series. You know, Trevor Bayne, the youngest ever winner of the Daytona 500 at 20 years old, but had to leave the sport for just a little while. Has worked his way back into it and wanting to be the most competitive he can be.
There's Josh Berry. We talked about him. Had to start in the back, trying to work himself up. Now he's on the outside. This right here is what he's hoping his teammate Allgaier can clear that 2 of Sheldon Creed. Now it cleans the racetrack up for Berry. Now Berry's free to go the outside. Now he's thinking, get on the outside of my teammate. Now I got him pinned down. Great job by Josh Berry right there.
That's racecraft. You know, we talk a lot about trying to create lap time and speed, but racecraft is something that perhaps is underrated at times, and that you just learn that from experience, and the aid of Josh Berry has found it in all those short track races.
And I wonder if there's a little bit of damage on that 7 car. He was really fast before that contact. Now he looks loose. Looks like he's really struggling with his car.
You see the donut right behind the right front tire. You don't know. The sheet metal looks okay, but to your point, Jeff, you know, there's anything in suspension, and I can confirm loose there, Rick, as he slides off the corner.
Yeah, the back end just inches away from the wall as he's following, or was following, Josh Berry into the turn, but Berry very high.
That was interesting. It's like I saw moisture or something on the camera. I don't know why that would be. I don't know if right there is Josh Berry leaking something out the back of the car, or is somebody else leaking, but I don't know why there would be moisture on the camera. It's a blue sky day here in New Hampshire.
Well, he's backing up also. Kim.
And Josh Berry has checked one thing off of his goals for today, and that was finish top 15 in stage 1. They finished that 13th, but when we spoke this morning, he said, man, after Road America and Atlanta, it is so nice to get back to a shorter track in this style of racing. This is how I came up through the ranks. This is where my confidence is, and we are certainly seeing that confidence show here today. Josh Berry currently running in the 10th position.
And Sheldon Creed holding up the 7 on the inside. Saw Allgaier try to figure out a way around, couldn't do it. Creed running right toward the bottom of the racetrack, at least through 1 and 2. Now a little bit higher up here. Berry stays right in his tire tracks.
I talked to Sheldon this week in the garage area, and he was trying to stay positive. You know, there's some highlights for this tooth car. He said, to be candid, those junior motorsports cars are just fast. He goes, you know, I make a mistake, I get back where I shouldn't be, and I watch them go right by me. So he thought he had to be a little bit more efficient and behind the wheel, not give up positions. But this move right here, you see the 8, great drive off the corner, moves left. And here's what Sheldon is talking about. These 8, these junior motorsports cars, this 8 of Josh Berry, man, looks really good, and he's going to slide up. A couple spots behind the 8 of Josh Berry's his teammate, the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Let's listen in.
Man, whatever the adjustment was, whatever it did to the car, it absolutely, like, killed my car.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing. Like, he just does not have, looks like rear lateral grip, Steve. Like, he just gets in the corner and back of the car just is not stuck in the racetrack the way he wants it to be. As you see on the top of the screen, Landon Castle going by his teammate A.J. Allmendinger for 3rd.
We talked about adjustments and, you know, turn the middle versus drive off, and as a crew chief, you kind of make an educated guess, and sometimes it's just not what your car needs at that time.
Well, too, Steve, this track is changing rapidly. You know, in the past several races here, there's been different ways they've tried to treat the racetrack with the traction compound. And the weather came in last year, they weren't able to put the traction compound down, so they said, you know what, let's don't put it down again. So that stuff stays on the racetrack for a little while, and now is it completely worn off? And this is something that no one really knows, and they're all having to learn and having to keep up with the racetrack as it changes.
The Allmendinger trying to chase down teammate Landon Castle. It's Gibbs and Byron 1 and 2, and Castle and Allmendinger, Trevor Bayne, Daniel Hemrick, Riley Herbst, Noah Gregson, Josh Berry, and Sheldon Creed the top 10. Kim.
And you see A.J. Allmendinger riding there in the 4th position. I asked him kind of where the team's head was this morning. He said, man, we were surprised with the qualifying effort we had, but the big thing for us is fighting burning off the tires, not just here, but all year long. So that was a goal for them this weekend, was not to fight the tires throughout the run and to manage those well. Certainly having a little bit of an issue right now. He radioed it to the team just now saying that chattering on the tires is quite aggressive, but they reminded him the heat cycle should help it. Marty?
Jim, a moment ago, right behind Trevor Bayne, by the way, in the 5th position behind A.J. Allmendinger. A moment ago, we were talking about comparing Landon Castle, who has a full-time ride here in the Xfinity Series, trying to establish himself, make sure he stays here permanently. Meanwhile, you got Trevor Bayne. He only has 2 more shots, Jeff, to prove what he can do behind the wheel of this 18 car, and he would love to get back full-time in this series. Certainly all the experience in the world, a former Daytona 500 winner, but I don't care how much experience, Jeff, you have. If you know I have limited shots, I got to do it while I'm in the car, that certainly puts a lot of pressure on even a driver like Trevor Bayne.
Well, Marty, it really does, and he's, you know, spoken to us and publicly about it. Like, I need to take advantage of this opportunity. I love racing. The other thing about it I thought was interesting in talking to him is he said, when I left racing, people thought I wanted to. I didn't want to leave racing. there wasn't an opportunity for me. This is the opportunity, and he knows how important it is to put this 18 car in the front of the pack.
Bain fighting in the top 5 right now and trying to get that win in the limited amount of starts that he has with Joe Gibbs Racing. And it's Ty Gibbs of JGR up front.
Laps complete here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 2 Colleague Racing teammates running 3rd and 4th. That's the 10 of Landon Castle and the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. Landon has yet to lead a lap this season. He's looking to lead a few today. His best finish so far this year was Martinsville, where he finished runner-up. That was also his career best finish. AJ Allmendinger in that 16 already has 2 wins this season. Those are the only 2 wins for Colleague Racing, but both of those wins are on road courses. One coming at Coda, one coming at Portland. So, can we see Colleague Racing pull off an oval win? Still 9 races to go before the playoffs, but uncharacteristic of this team to not have very many wins so far this season, but it's expanding to a 3-car team and bringing on 2 new drivers such as Landon Castle and Daniel Hemrick has brought some challenges for this team, but having seen the way they're running so far early on today, pretty strong start for Colleague Racing.
Tomorrow, it's final round of the Open Championship from St. Andrews, the old course. Coverage at 4 a.m. Eastern on USA and 7 a.m. on NBC and Peacock. Both Rory McIlroy and Victor Hovland shot 66 today, and they are co-leaders through round 3 at 16 under. That's going to be a great fight to watch there. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series Crayon 200 from Magic Mile here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Out front, it is still Ty Gibbs, and we want to go through the field. We'll start with Marty.
Rick, you can see why Joe Gibbs Racing has won 11 of the last 13 races here at New Hampshire, dating back to 2008. Ty Gibbs up front today, leading his 42nd lap right now. That'll go on the board when he crosses the start-finish line. So the car's a little bit tight in the center. Same car they won with at Richmond. The message this morning, as we talked about earlier, patience. Ty Gibbs showing that out front. William Byron sitting in second right behind him. He won the Slinger Nationals in Wisconsin earlier this week. That is a very prestigious late model race, and he told me earlier this week, man, I love going to these races. Yes, it takes me away from home more. Yes, I lose more sleep, but those midweek races have tuned me up so much for race weekends. I'm going to add more to my calendar moving forward. And how about Landon Castle having a terrific run up there in the 3rd position, the best of the Colleague cars right now. He finished 8th at Atlanta, broke a streak of not finishing in the top 10 for 4 straight races. Castle loves this racetrack, Kim, and that's showing right now.
And AJ Allmendinger running right behind his teammate in the 4th position. And I told you earlier, AJ was surprised at Colleague's qualifying effort. He's likely surprised at their current running effort right now. All 3 of those cars in the top 6. He said, this is just a place where this team has struggled, where I have struggled. He said, if you don't get the setup right, it's not fun. It looks like they have the setup right. Not sure he's having fun though, Marty, because he just radioed in and said he's getting tight and shaking those rear tires.
Bain not having much fun either, Kim. He led 17 laps earlier and radioed to Jason Ratcliffe as we ride on board with Trevor Bain a moment ago. The car is a little worse. Ratcliffe said, well, worse in what way? What do you mean? He said it just won't turn in the middle. I'm sure Steve has heard this story before. Too loose off the corners. He said right there is where we need the most help. Turns 3 and 4, that's where we're struggling the most, Kim.
And Hemrick running behind him in the 6th position, not able to hold that front row track position he had to start off the race here. And it's just been a battle in the balance category for him. He said the entry's not great. I can't be any tighter in the corner. And he said I light up the rears on the transition from old to new pavement. So this track, his teammate AJ described as a beast, is certainly taking its toll on Daniel Hemrick riding in the 6th position, Marty.
Kim, in his 2 starts here, Noah Gragson has finished 10th and 14th. So to that point, when he sat down with Luke Lambert, the very first meeting they had, he said, the #1 racetrack I want you to help me with is New Hampshire. I can't figure it out. I don't know why I can't figure it out, but if you can help me be good there, that would be tremendous. Having one of his best New Hampshire runs so far. It's not in the top 5, but it is progress right now, running in the 7th position, Kim.
And the 7 car of Justin Allgaier running in the 8th position. We heard that audio a little bit earlier after the incident with Julian Landauer. That car just not where it was at the start of the race. Despite that, he's been able to march forward just a bit. He was in the 11th position, a handful of laps to go, and that's probably due to his spotter, Eddie DeHaan. Because Justin was still worried about the incident with the number 45. Eddie got on the radio and said, we have a race-winning car. I need you to focus and reset. All Justin's response was, copy. And now he is holding steady currently in the 8th position.
Back in, kicking out a little bit there on the 7 as we see the 88. Now of William Byron, he has closed the gap on Ty Gibbs.
Traffic is not Ty Gibbs' favor right here. You see him stacked up behind 3 cars that are slower, and they're running that higher groove that the 54 prefers.
Did you see that massive amount of space that the 88 of Byron made up on Gibbs entering turn 1? Just drove the car into the corner, and it stuck. We saw this early in the race, Steve, where the Junior Motorsports car looked like he had more speed on long runs. Going to try the outside right here.
He's got a block in front of him, though, is the problem for William Byron, but it might not be a big problem as he's able to clear the 54, and William Byron now leading here at New Hampshire.
That was an experienced move by Byron to run the upper lane even with a car in his way, because he knew he could turn, diamond the corner, and get a run off nice and straight. William Byron in this 88 showing why he races on Sundays. That experience, saving those rear tires, not overrunning the front tires. This is important for the 54 of Ty Gibbs to try to learn what he can when he has a Xfinity Series champ in the field.
I'm not sure he's going to be able to see him. I think the Ty Gibbs car has fallen off big. His car is sliding around. He got in this traffic.
I got something going on with my brakes.
Yeah, Jeff, he came on the radio just a second ago and said something is wrong with the brakes. I'm hitting the brakes and it's just shaking all over the place. Certainly, Ty has enough experience to know if there were a problem, he would certainly feel it. And just a moment ago, Chris Gale said, hey, the only thing I can think to do, the stage ends here in 8 laps, is to come down pit road and take tape off and maybe cool the brakes down, Steve.
Well, so the issue is if they are not stopping, I would say they need to be cooler. If they are shaking, there are some studies that would say they need to be a little warmer. There are some pad combinations that transfer to the rotor and make it blotchy, and then when the 2 pads, squeeze to the rotor, it shakes and pulses. So they must obviously, they know what kind of brakes they have in the car, and if they think cooler is the answer, we'll have to wait and see.
And why is braking so
The only thing I know to do on the pit stop is to pull tape and to get them cooled back down. It won't cost us a ton.
So that won't cost us a ton, right? So there's 2 things, right? It's, we could take our time and look at them, but we don't want to lose track position. We're up here running the top 2.
So why is braking so important at this racetrack? And we saw that William Byron, when he was able to catch Ty Gibbs, how far he could drive into the corner. The center of the corner, Steve, is so far away from your braking zone. If you can drive the car in the corner and use a lot of brakes and then get the car turned, there's a massive amount of speed in doing that. If you can't do that, or if you're loose on corner entry, it just compromises how aggressive you can be, and there's just no opportunity to make gains on corner entry.
These 2 are running into each other at the end of the last stage. We heard from Marty Snyder that there was some confusion. It was a mistake by the 9. Perhaps the apology wasn't delivered, or perhaps the 11 didn't care about the apology. I mean, okay, great, thanks, you hit me, and you're going to apologize and try to make it all better? We'll have to see how clean this stays for the last 5 laps. So far, so good.
Gregson in that 9, looking to the inside of Daniel Hemrick in the 11.
And those mistakes are going to happen. You just talked about how hard it is to get into the corner with the appropriate speed. You're right on the edge of control. You can kind of bounce the rears, the fronts can shake. There's a lot of ways you can get in deeper than you anticipate.
And Daniel's showing a lot of trust right here. They had a little issue earlier. Still running that high line. He knows Noah's going to go to the bottom. He's not even trying to protect it. He's up there. There's a little more banking up there. Big wiggle. He knows Noah's going to try to drive under him. Now he's just going to try to stay in the throttle, enter the corner side by side with him, and just keep the battle up. And trust that Noah's not going to run into the side of him.
And the bottom of that 54 continues to lose spots. Now the 10 of Landon Castle is worked by.
Little bump there from Gibbs into the back of the 10. And so Landon Castle up to second. He's still 3 seconds off of what William Byron is running. He's 3 seconds behind him, as you see Gregson trying to complete this pass.
Yeah, that time Noah just said, okay, I'm driving in the corner. I'm going to wash up the racetrack, slide up in front of you, and you're going to have to lift. And that's exactly what happened. Clean pass. No problem with that pass whatsoever.
Yeah, Noah talked about trying to get better at this racetrack. That was an experienced type move. That was patient, worked his way at it, didn't get frustrated, and finally took the position.
Noah, one of the drivers in the Xfinity Series that you would anticipate could have a career in the Cup Series. You just never know when that opportunity would present itself.
Well, with all the movement in the Cup Series just this week, a lot of Xfinity drivers went, hey, maybe consider me. You see right here the battle coming back to Noah.
Here comes Daniel Hemrick, the reigning Xfinity Series champion. On this final lap of stage 2, goes quickly. Top of the screen, you see the 88. William Byron has a 2.8 second lead over Landon Castle. He is going to win stage 2.
It's going to be a hard pass for.
Oh! He spun him.
It is going to be a hard pass, especially there's going to be hard feelings now too. Noah Gregson sideways, gets it refired. He'll bring it back around. The caution has come out. Daniel Hemrick ended up 6th in that stage. Take another look.
Stage 2 complete here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and a bit of an eventful finish to the stage there as Noah Gregson ultimately finishes 17th after some contact with the 11 of Daniel Hemrick. Noah Gregson, 2 wins already this season for that 9 team, Phoenix and Talladega. He leads the series in top 5s this year with 9 total. Now, as far as New Hampshire goes, he finished 14th here at the Magic Mile last year. And he's done pretty well when it comes to laps led. He's third in the series right now with 384 laps led. So as far as playoffs go, Griffin is locked in. He's definitely above the cut line, which is where those stage finishes and good stage finishes come into play. Again, an unfortunate 17th place finish in the stage 2 for that 9 team.
William Byron has won stage 2. He leads the field onto pit road. Kim.
AJ Allmendinger struggling with what he has all season. That's burning off the tires. He said he feels like he's burned off the right front tight, struggling with drive off, as you see right there. Then making the change, the chassis adjustment. Marty?
Kim, want to run for Landon Castle. Pretty happy with this race car, especially towards the end of the run. You saw that speed. Meanwhile, for William Byron, he said he feels like he needs more short run turn in the race car and more overall grip at the end of the run as well. Meanwhile, Ty Gibbs is going to sit here for a bit. They feel like something is wrong with the brake line. I do see the carrier up there saying something does look pinched in there. They did pull that tape off of the grill, and the A-frame, they're telling me, is actually broken on the right front of the 54. We're going to have to dig more into that. Chris Gale is down here as well, Steve. And yes, this is going to be an extended stop for 54. Look at everybody, the entire field going by Ty Gibbs.
Well, you see him going to the toolbox right here for tools. So is it broken or has it fallen off the race car? We're going to have to see right here. Looks like.
Go get caught up. Hey, stay on the front of the car. Go get caught up, and we're coming back.
There you go. Go get caught up. Come back to pit road. Probably need to open the hood and take a better look at it. There's no damage, so if something has broken, it would be very unfortunate, or maybe something has come loose. We'll have to see what the update is when he comes back down pit road.
One of the fastest cars at the start of this race, the 54 of Ty Gibbs, an issue. There's also issues with the 9 and 11. We'll dive into more of that later.
The 26 car of Derrick Griffith on pit road right now. Derrick making his third career series start. He raced earlier this year for Sam Hunt Racing at Richmond and at Martinsville, but this one means a little bit more to Derrick. This is his home track. He's a New Hampshire native. Now, Derrick is an accomplished super late model racer here on the East Coast. He's won multiple championships, 2 of the last 3 World Series of Asphalt at New Smyrna Speedway, and now he's branching into the NASCAR National Series with a few starts in the trucks, and now here his third in the Xfinity Series. But in addition to racing here at home, you may see on the side of his race car Hudson Speedway. Now that's a racetrack just an hour south from here where we are in New Hampshire. That is where Derrick began his racing career. He started racing at Hudson at the age of 12 years old, and now here, a number of years later, he's racing at his home track for the first time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
They continue to work on the 54 of Ty Gibbs under the hood, trying not to lose a lap. Now, Hemrick in the 11 running in the 4th position. Marty, what's going on with the 54?
Yeah, they probably are going to lose a lap here, Rick. They've actually shut the engine off. Chris Gale very frustrated with what's happened. So, Steve, we mentioned it was an A-arm issue. What's actually happened is the shims that hold that in and keep it steady have all fallen out. So now they got to replace all those shims. The field goes by Ty Gibbs. He will lose a lap here. Chris Gale said no matter what, let's get it fixed right here. If we lose a lap, that's fine. They're hoping to get that back a little bit later, but that would cause a significant vibration and validate what Ty Gibbs said during that run, Steve.
Yeah, so he couldn't feel it cornering, but he could feel it on the brake pedal. You know, with the front suspension's loose, as you clamp, it just shakes back and forth on the 54. So that's the issue. But back to the cause of the yellow, we're going to see right here contact between the 11 and the 9. It's really hard to tell from this angle. I think the 11 goes up the racetrack, but they already cross lanes so much here, you have a hard time seeing it. It looks to me like it's clear contact in the left rear and the 11 climbing the banking.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. Daniel Hemrick up the racetrack, clearly upset, in my opinion. That was intentional, clearly upset about what happened early in the race when Noah got into the side of him. He just had enough. Round you go.
So it was a big story a few weeks back, the big accident at Road America that Noah was penalized for. It's worth noting that the 11 of Hemrick was in it. So you wonder how many other guys that were in that wreck are going to show their frustration with Noah Gragson.
Not only that, they fought on pit road.
They have.
At some point earlier.
They have previously. As we're back underway, stage 3, the final stage underway. William Byron in the 88 on the outside. And how about Landon Castle in the 10 for Colleague Racing? A great race here at New Hampshire as the cautions come back out. And Julia Landauer in the 45 is involved.
Matt Mills rolling away. You heard her say, "I'm sorry." I didn't catch the
Yeah, I'm
first.
sorry, guys. I tried to go a little deeper to get around the 13, and then I went too deep in.
Again, limited running in a full-size stock car for Julia Landauer. She had mentioned it was a year and a half since the last time she was in a stock car. 2014 graduate of Harvard.
Oh, big damage on the left side of the 78. Let's take a look.
Garage, we are done.
Oh, there you go.
We're wide there in the middle.
Sorry, guys.
Slid into the 78.
A little confused about that. She said she was trying to drive in the corner deeper to get on the outside of 13, but there was somebody on the outside of her.
Yeah, without knowing what information she had or didn't have.
Yes.
So extensive damage to the 45 as well as Matt Mills in the 78. So another quick caution here, not even a lap complete in the final stage. We'll be back with more.
Stage 3 is underway here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. More eventful day for that 45 of Julia Landauer making her series debut. Now, if you're an international viewer, you might be familiar with Julia. She's raced in a multitude of series from ARCA East and West, the Euro Series, and the Pinty Series. In fact, she was the first female ever to lead laps in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Fun fact about Julia, back in 2017, she was named to Forbes Sports 30 Under 30 for influential athletes. So, first start in the Xfinity Series for Julia, coming to an early end here today at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but keep an eye on that young female racer as she makes her way here into the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Download America's loved free-to-play slots app. Visit goldfish-racing.com. And under caution, they're going to have the choose rule once again. The 11 of Daniel Hemrick, after that very quick restart and then caution, is in the 5th position, and the 9 of Gregson is 13th. But this happened just at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious there's contact between the two. I don't think that's in question. Sends the 9 around. Really, the question is, you know, why is it? We haven't heard anything on the radio, but you have to ask. These two have a colored past. We've had some fights between them before. We had wrecks at different places, and this is probably the one everyone's going to talk about the most. The 9 of Gregson turns right into Sage Karam on the straightaway. Why does that matter? Because look at the calamity behind it. I mean, the cars continue to pile in, and this gets Hemrick involved. I mean, look, they continue. There's a huge wreck with Castle. There's Hemrick right in front of him with that green hood and the AG on the hood right there, ending a good run for Hemrick. So, you know, we talked about this this and how it pertains to Noah and Sage, but it affected everyone else's day. And you know, drivers, crew chiefs, teams, owners, they have long memories. And if I am the 11 car, I mean, I know he got penalized, but that doesn't help me. That doesn't give me back my points from Road America. So this is going to be a test for Noah, because he is going to be treated differently after Road America, I feel. Marty.
And Steve, there's certainly been a lot of talk since that incident, Dale Jr. included in that. Luke Lambert, the crew chief for Noah Gragson as well. And very calmly, Luke, on the top of your screen, said after that incident, put it behind us. Focus forward. Let's stay calm. And Noah, to his credit, said only things about how the car was handling, did not once mention Daniel Hemrick's name or what happened with that incident, but certainly something that this whole team with a 9 bunch is going to have to worry about and keep track of for the rest of the year, Kim.
And Daniel Hemrick was quiet on the radio during the incident. Well, so I checked in with the team, and President Chris Rice told me, I think you just overdrove it there. He was being a little coy. Obviously, he did note that these two drivers have a little bit of a history, so we'll have to see what pertains to the rest of the race for them. But Daniel Hemrick may be taking advantage of the fact that Noah Gragson has his hands tied and likely wouldn't retaliate for something like that.
I would love to be invited to the call of competition meeting next time Noah drives our cup car. I mean, it's going to be a great time. I mean, sure, why not? It should be awesome.
So here, check this choose out. Here in New Hampshire, it's almost always been that you want to pick the top in the last, 7, 8, 9 races. And Marty was saying he was hearing drivers just saying, hey, give me the shortest line, top, bottom, I don't care. Which is telling me, Steve, this track is different. It is changing there, and the drivers are trying to adapt.
Track position, forget preferred lane. Just get me in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
I'll block when I get down there in the corner.
I want Landon Castle. We talked about it earlier. He has been dying for this opportunity to drive a race car that can go fast. He's got one today. He's got William Byron, a Cup winner, a Cup championship contender, a guy that winning every late model race he's been in. This is his chance to go take the fight to one of the young up-and-coming Cup drivers. He's relished this. Let's see what he can do with it.
Well, Ty Gibbs 4 laps down after making those repairs. So everyone else, the car that's led almost 50 laps in the race, has been eliminated from contention. That's opportunity.
And quietly behind Landon Castle, Josh Berry. There he is, started in the back, sitting there restarting third.
14 years ago, Landon Castle, the Xfinity Series Rookie of the Year. Back underway here at New Hampshire, and an aggressive 16 of A.J. Allmendinger working that high line. Way up the racetrack goes William Byron, and the 16's going to go by. Byron falling way back now.
Got a tire down, some sort of a problem.
Yeah, because he's still not at speed.
The full field go by. We'll get down. We'll come to pit road this time. 5 more.
Castle out front. Now Allmendinger putting the pressure on as he looks to the inside for the lead.
Pitting this time. Don't speed.
Saw Allmendinger trying to make that move on Castle. That slowed his momentum down off of 4.
Josh
and there
Berry.
Josh Berry is trying to take advantage of it.
Race side only scuff tires, guys. Race side only scuff tires.
Berry up to second. He slides up the racetrack. Here comes Allgaier. It's Justin Allgaier in the 7 now fighting for the second spot.
Allgaier aggressive on corner entry speed, trying to make this fast, but does not have the rear grip he needs on corner exit.
So Ty Gibbs with the mechanical issue. He is a couple laps down. Now the 88.
Oh, contact from the 18 to the 98. A great save by Riley Herbst. Rick, I thought we were going to have yellow.
Riley was turning right to go left there. Make sure the car didn't spin around. But now the 88. Oh, and around goes the 11. Hemrick goes around.
The left rear was flat on corner entry. All the beating and banging, you have to ask where there was contact, what made this tire go down. It looked like the Goodyear was missing.
Leopard tire go down.
I can agree with Daniel. We'll have to go back and look at the last few laps to see if we can find contact, because without a doubt, as the 11 turned in, the left rear was flat.
You mentioned it, Steve. So much contact on these restarts. It is the opportunity to get track position. You have to be aggressive, but when you are aggressive, you can make a mistake and get in the side of somebody.
So let's take a look right here. The 11 on the left half of your screen, already moving the car back and forth. The left rear is flat, but it looks like the Goodyear is already missing. So I believe there's contact with that left rear of the 11 at some point before this accident.
What a helpless feeling for a driver. He knew down the back straightaway he was in trouble, but you just cannot get it slowed down enough.
He has to decide if he's going to try to climb out over the wall or climb across to the right side. Let's take a look at the 88. I don't know if there's a loose wheel because, Rick, you know, the air looks up in these tires. So he gets going on the restart. You know, the 16's definitely into the back of him, everything normal, but then he turns down in the corner and he just aborts. He feels something so severe he can't continue. When he came down pit road, they only called for right side tires, and the tires looked like they had air in them. So I don't know if it was a loose wheel or another issue. I mean, there's no sparking. There's no interliners here. So it has a flat right rear. Something's dragging on the racetrack. Daniel Hemrick taking that unfortunate walk to the medical attention. And you see, you know, I don't see any damage on this car. We'll have to get an update on exactly what happened to the 88. Interesting point in the race, though, 93 laps in. You know,
AMR team out there, they do such a great job of coming and checking on the drivers, making sure they're okay. A lot of hard-working people right there. Appreciate them.
Yep, track crew also going to work getting the 11 off the track.
Hey, Rick, real quick, it was indeed a flat right front for William Byron. I can confirm that, and pushing on the tire right here myself, so he indeed had to have a flat right front, but that caution came at a very nice time. It does look up, Steve, but I can tell you it is indeed getting soft there. The interesting thing is here, they went down one lap, so everybody else, I think, will pit here, Kim. They can take the wave around and be back in the game.
So, like I mentioned, I thought the tire was flat, but he could, you know, he had such good feel, he could tell it was losing air. Not enough air to drag on the racetrack, but too much to continue. You know, you could save your day by pitting. Now, it's going to be tough for him to get the way. I mean, it would take every car to come to pit road, and I'm not sure he's going to get that fortunate with 25 in the lead lap. I believe somebody might stay on the racetrack. We're going to have to see when pit road opens what everyone decides to do.
Still 92 laps to go in this race, and pit road was open. Landon Castle is the race leader here at New Hampshire. Make sure to represent your favorite driver. You can take advantage of amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts, hats, diecasts, and much, much more. Visit NASCAR.com/shop. All right, under 91 to go in this race from New Hampshire. Let's go back to the Peacock pit box and Brad and DJ.
All right, Brad, a lot going on here, but let's go to the Ruoff Mortgage Keys to Victory Lane. A lot happening within this race. Who can take advantage of this situation, because we got so many things going on here this afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously this is a big one right now. Restarts. How many positions can you go get on these restarts? Very, very important.
Yeah, and we've got some cars that look really good that have long run speed, others have short run speed, and who can make that right call as to when to come get those tires? Rick, send it back to you.
Yep.
Yeah, and then one more pit stop, right, Steve?
All right, yes, one more pit stop. I tip my hat to the tape room. Paul Harvey is out. The rest of the store on the 11 right here, 3 wide. We're going to zoom in real quick. You're going to see no one's real fault. This is it. The 48, there's a car in the middle. I believe it's the 2 that gets squeezed. The 11 of Hemrick right there. Just a little contact. You see the 11 wiggle. That's contact the left rear tire. Flat left rear ends the day for Hemrick.
How quick things change. And again, on a restart, everybody's aggressive. Now we got another restart again on older tires. Nobody pitted. Got to get your tires cleaned up the best you can.
By the way, a restart happening, and Josh Berry's up front. He won the pole yesterday, but had to start at the back of the field, so let's see what he can do now with this track position. Landon Castle in the 10 on the inside, Josh Berry in the 8 on the outside. Can he take the lead away right here coming out of 2?
I did not like that pick that Landon Castle made to take the bottom on that restart. The bottom is very difficult to get going on these straights. For some reason, the outside always does, and you gave Josh Berry the outside, which is the preferred lane. It was not a good choice.
111 laps, Rick. Last to first. Josh Berry just patient, picking and choosing his moments, and had a little bit of fortune go his way with the 54 and the 88.
And it started, you heard Dale Jarrett say, I've been watching him, it started from the front of the race. No panic. Got a long way, no problem, and he didn't put himself in a bad position. Now, with 88 to go, he's where he wanted to be all along.
And I'm kind of keeping an eye on that 2 car, because remember that replay we saw, it was his contact to the left rear, so that's always a concerning issue. So we'll see if the right front can stay. How about the 39 of Sieg powering in there?
Yeah, we saw Riley Herbst in the 98 move up the racetrack, and Ryan Sieg decided to fill that void quickly in the 39. Now A.J. Allmendinger to the inside of the 2 of Sheldon Creed, and the 9 putting pressure on Allmendinger.
Good run by Sheldon Creed today. This year has been a struggle for him coming out of the truck series, a truck champion. Expected much more out of this year, and it's just been difficult for him. But this is a huge confidence builder for this team.
They've had flashes of greatness throughout the season, but they haven't had the finishes that they were expecting, Marty.
Boy, and Rick, this team desperately needs a win. In the last 12 races, they have lost 109 points to the cut line. You talk about someone upsetting the playoff picture in the Xfinity Series. If Sheldon Creed can get a few more spots and get a win, he would be in the playoffs this year.
Well, he's in the thick of it right now. He had the 16 of Allmendinger looking to the inside, and the 9 of Gregson was looking on the outside.
Great move by Noah Gregson right there.
Caution out. And it's the 26 that is around. And so Derrick Griffith, the local star here from New Hampshire, late model superstar, has gone around and brought out the caution. Talked about how much experience Derrick has here at this racetrack, all in late models, though. It's the first time he's been here in the Xfinity Series, and he even mentioned how difficult it is to learn that transition from late model to Xfinity cars.
He's been on pit road a couple times today with the hood up, power steering issues on the 26. He's a couple laps down. Let's take a look what got him turned around here on the left side of your screen. Kind of hard to say. He's already sideways. It looks like welcome to New Hampshire in a very overpowered, overweight Xfinity car, low grip.
That guy wins a lot of super late model races up here. Really good driver. Loved the opportunity that he had to drive this car. He's from New Hampshire, his hometown racetrack. A lot of talent behind the wheel right there.
With 84 to go, I think at this point the whole field is going to come to pit road. I think it's close enough to their fuel window that whether you like it or you don't like it, this is getting ready to turn into a fuel consumption race. You're going to have to come to pit road and fill it up. The question is, do you think you need tires? You know, there's not a lot of laps on these tires. You might save that set for later in the race. We'll have to just wait and see what the decisions are. Pit road currently closed. The 88, the free pass. So William Byron will be back on the lead lap.
Be back on the lead lap, but far enough back. Does he have enough time to get to the front to potentially battle for a win here?
Well, if it runs green, he doesn't. But if we continue to see a rash of cautions, then why not? Right? We have 83 to go. Josh Berry just did it in 110 laps. You know, a little different situation, but you know, with yellows and all the different situation.
So William Byron doing double duty this weekend. Obviously running the Xfinity race right now. He'll also be very busy tomorrow. Countdown to green at 2 o'clock on USA. And the Cup will take the green flag just after 3 o'clock on USA. And on Peacock exclusively is the NTT IndyCar racing from Toronto. So 2-screen possibility there for you.
Hey, we talk about drivers. It's been quite the week in IndyCar as well.
Yes.
Alex Palou, who's he driving for next year? I mean, there's a silly season. It's a global pandemic at the moment when it comes to drivers and where they're driving.
That's not silly season over there. That's crazy season over there. One driver being claimed by 2 teams
at the same time.
I'm shocked to see this. Pit road's open this time. The leaders choose not to pit. I think this is an opportunity for someone to steal a good run as we see the 21 last week's winner on pit road. Marty.
I love this call by Andy Street here, the winners last week at Atlanta. And Steve, you're right. They are right on the edge of their fuel window. Probably run about 85 laps. You know there's probably going to be another caution, right? So 82 to go here. Nice call by this bunch. And also that shows you 2 wins in the bank, Steve. That kind of helps you make this call, right? So they're pitting here thinking we're going to be done for the day, and they would have track position if that worked out, because everybody else has to come down pit road. See the race off right here, but a nice call by the winners from last week.
Yeah, Austin Hill and Andy Street quietly having a very nice year. 2 wins, but 8 top 5s, 10 top 10s, finding their way to have good runs.
Saw Alex LeVay, 185 miles north of here in St. Albert, Quebec, also on pit road.
Pit road was open and nobody came down with just over 80 laps to go. It begs the question as what teams are expecting here when it comes to pit road strategy, because fuel is definitely going to come into play. Teams other than the 21 car need to pit because the 21 of Austin Hill did bring it in and they are good to go for the rest of this race, but the leaders are still going to need to refill on fuel. It's not surprised, though, that they're expecting a potential other caution, because with more than 80 laps to go, there is still a substantial amount of racing left here in New Hampshire. And when you look at this series so far this year, 5 races have gone to overtime. We've also seen 5 races have a last lap pass for the win. So still a lot of action expected here in the Xfinity Series from New Hampshire. Just 80 laps to go here today.
A lot of racing continuing on USA. It's Lime Rock Park for IMSA. And again, that's right here on USA. And bringing out the most recent caution, Daniel Hemrick was back in the infield care center, and Kim's caught up with him.
And it's been an eventful race for Daniel Hemrick. Brought out the caution, unfortunately, out of the race. Also some contact with Noah Gragson out there. What's the story?
Yeah, I mean, restarts are everything here. Track position's obviously the most critical thing. We had that with a good qualifying effort with our AG1 Camaro, and everyone at Call Like Racing's been busting their tails to try to bring us better and faster race cars, and feel like not all the way there, but a good step in the right direction for our short track program this weekend. And yeah, just into the stage, some guys stay out, some guys don't, and I'm not sure the 9-wheel hopper what happened, but he used me up, getting into 3. That cost me a lot earlier, and then same thing happened when I got back to him. So it was disappointing for sure, and then 2 looked like he just fired it in the bottom there after that restart stage 2 and kind of got my left rear, cut the left rear tire down. So I was trying to nurse it before I came to pit road, and unfortunately it was down when I got to 3 and wheel hop and hit the fence. So paid for these guys, but they won't keep us down. Keep working and come back.
And green flag back out as the field all trying to chase after that 8 of Josh Berry. Landon Castle on the inside, and a very slow restart for Ty Dillon.
Yeah, I don't know
at 48.
I don't know if he spun the tires or missed a shift, but they couldn't go. Evasive action by everybody behind him. The 10 of Landon Castle, as you mentioned, Rick, a much better restart than the time before. He's going to at least drive into turn 3 next to Josh Berry. Can he contend?
Side by side for the lead, side by side for third. Castle strong on the inside. Here comes Berry on the outside, though.
Josh Berry, what he's got to do right here is carry enough speed to where he can't let Landon just drive in there and slide up in front of him. was able to do it on corner entry, but on corner exit, right there is where Josh Berry took the fight back to Castle. Castle was inches away from being clear where he could have jumped up and taken that outside line.
Now he's trying to get a little bit tighter there as they enter 3, and for the lead, it's Landon Castle back out front as Josh Berry has to get out of the gas entering turn 3. Marty.
Boy, what a move by Landon Castle. And remember that last restart, Jeff, you said he chose the wrong line. He told his crew, that was my bad. I did not get the launch I wanted on this one. He made sure he got the good restart. That battle for the lead still continuing. Now it's a 3-car race, Rick.
Yeah, here comes Noah Gregson in the 9. He's going to look to the inside of Josh Berry now. Those two teammates for Junior Motorsports chasing after colleague racing in the 10 of Landon Castle. And Sheldon Creed having a great run back there in the 4th position. He does a crossover. Berry does. Crosses over, tries to get to the inside now.
I absolutely love that move by Josh Berry. He knew it wasn't going to work. Why sail it in there underneath? Oh,
and sideways goes the 8. Berry goes around.
Oh, Sam Bear in it.
And a big hit from behind on Ryan Sieg. They pile up coming out of 2.
The 27 and Jeb Burton was the one that made contact with the 39, sending him in the air. You see the damage to the front of the 27. We were on board with the 8. I don't know if it was contact or he just lost it. We'll have to go back outside the car to...
Right there.
Another big hit for Myatt Snyder, too. You see the damage to the front end. We showed the replay of Road America a little while ago, and now he's in another one here, but you see the damage to the 27 of Jeb Burton. AMR safety crew immediately to these drivers.
Yeah, the 39 of Sieg, the back of that car had to be 2-3 feet in the air.
I'd put it a little higher than that. We could see the back deck lid. He was up so high.
And there you go. You see the damage to the 8 of Berry. Let's take a look. So the 8's laying up. He's going to try to appear or diamond the corner. Looks like he's trying to come down, and the 2 of Creed thinks he's there, and he stays in the gas. Contact, and around goes the 8 in front of traffic. Oh, my goodness.
And here comes Myatt. You know, that's so difficult. It's hard to know what lane to go to. I agree with you. I think Josh Berry thought he was clear, came down the racetrack. Sheldon Creed's there, and now here he is spinning in front of the entire field. You've already selected which lane you're going to go. You can't just change that lane. Jeb Burton underneath Sieg.
And listen, that's a racing incident, in my opinion. The 8 is trying to diamond the corner. He either thinks he's clear or thinks the 2 will give way. And the 2 is thinking, I fought for this 1 foot underneath your bumper. I'm going to try to stay there. And Rick, you were right. My 2 feet is about 6 or 7 feet on that 39.
Wow.
That is just a huge impact. Let's ride on board right here. You're going to see down the banking. And then this. Wow.
Look at Josh.
Yeah, took his hands off the steering wheel.
So you see right there, Jeb Burton on the outside. He had already chosen the lane. There's nothing you can do, and just couldn't get slowed down.
I mean, the rear axle of that car was 2 or 3 feet above the wall, not off the racetrack. It's unbelievably high.
A lot of cleanup going to have to take place here. The race has been red flagged here momentarily. I would say that right there, this whole incident will be a motor mouth moment that you guys will talk about Monday and Wednesday.
We will certainly be talking about this. Join us on Peacock. It's so much fun. Hey, covering these types of wrecks, but I mean, that's a blow for that 39 car, Ryan. See, you said it earlier. He's battling for that playoff spot.
So when we were watching the 8, guys, could he have been loose coming out of 2 and trying to catch that car, and that sent him down to the inside? Because he did slow down as well. The 8 of Josh Berry coming down on the 2 of Sheldon Creed.
Well, so listen, I mean, everyone's loose. No one has rear grip getting off the corner here, so we're going to just take a look at it. He's just coming down. You see the 2's left front is on the white line, really even on the apron. So, I don't put that on Creed. I don't think he turned him around on purpose, but I do think he stood his ground, and I don't think he meant to spin him, but he thought there'd probably be some contact and Berry would give way and he would take the spot going down. And I'm sure Berry was thinking either A, he was clear, or B, I'm going to force him down on the apron and get him to lose even more rear traction and beat him off the corner. I mean, it's kind of a shoving match. I mean, the 8 is coming down the hill here without a doubt.
Yeah, he's coming down the hill. He's wanting to be in that lane that the 9 was in front of him because it helps straighten out the corner on corner exit so you can be in the throttle. and he just simply came down on, on Sheldon Creed. Hey, man, it's racing. Racing happens. You are fighting for position. Sometimes people make mistakes, and it's that mistake causes this mess. Look at the one-car Sam Mayer. He just hung a right to try to keep to him hitting the A car and did a really good job of having no more damage to his car than he did.
I mean, that's as evasive maneuver as you can get away with.
Yes.
The wall helped him straighten it out, but that's going to let the 1 continue. The 18 snuck through. We see the 48. 48's probably thankful he got stacked up on that restart. That probably put him just far enough behind this wreck not to get in it.
And Sam Mayer has had an eventful day. He keeps having trouble. He had finally worked himself up and finally had track position, was finally going to be able to be in the fight. And now he's got damage.
Yeah, a little more damage than I think I was expecting from the first shot, but this could have been day ending. I think this is going to hurt their chances of running up front, top 5 or top 10, but you can get it fixed, tape it up, and definitely finish at a 1-mile track.
Yeah, without that evasive action that he had, they would have had a whole lot more damage for sure.
So it's been since 2007 that Chevrolet has won in the Xfinity Series here at this racetrack. It was actually Kevin Harvick back in 2007. And right now, the top 7 positions are held by Chevrolet because for the last 6 races, it has been all Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota.
And I don't think we can say enough about Landon Castle. He was brought over to Colleague Racing, and this is a big opportunity for perhaps the best equipment he has consistently driven. 193 starts this guy has in this series. 193 without a win. And, he is showing that he has winning talent. He's making the moves. I think it almost took him a little bit. He had been in other equipment that he had to manage for so long. I think he almost had to shake the rust off about what it's like to remind himself to run in the front 2 or 3 rows on a restart.
Well, I talked to him about that. He's having to learn how to win, right? He's not accustomed to being in that position because of the equipment. Speaking of winning, a guy that's been winning a lot lately in late models and also in the Cup Series, don't forget about this guy right here driving that 88 car. We said he needed some brakes. He needed something good to happen to him. Well, all that happened was bad for the guys who were in that wreck, but this guy right here, William Byron, that was a huge break for him. He is going to gain tons of track position, and now with 75 to go, is in position to maybe be able to come from the back and win this race.
Had a right front tire that was going down. He came to pit road, lost a lap, was able to get back on the lead lap, and now he will be back in contention here. William Byron currently scored in the 15th position. So another look at what just took place with the 8s of Josh Berry, as well as riding along with the 18. What a ride that was for Trevor Bayne. Sideways for Berry, and cars stacking up, pinched into the wall, and then Ryan Sieg gets hit hard from Jeb Burton. Up in the air he goes. They're cleaning up the racetrack. When we come back, we will restart here at the Magic Mile.
Under red flag here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for an 8-car incident. Josh Berry, you see, still on pit road. He was running in the top 3 when that happened. Unfortunately, looks like he's going to be a number of laps down. They're finally getting that car off the jack, hoping to get it back out there soon. But interestingly enough, the top 7 drivers as we prepare to restart here are all Chevrolets. We have not seen a Chevrolet in victory lane here at New Hampshire since 2007 when Kevin Harvick won the race. So 8 of the top 10 right now being Chevrolet drivers. Our current leader, Landon Castle, if he could pull this one off, it would be a career best day for Landon here, but still a substantial number of laps to go from New Hampshire Motor Speedway as we're getting back under the yellow flag here after that red delay.
Action continues next Saturday. It's the Xfinity Series from Pocono on USA. Race coverage beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern as we continue on with the Crayon 200 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And the caution coming out as we saw Ryan C. get lifted completely off the ground by Jeb Burton. Burton now standing by with Kim.
Yeah, crazy, crazy accident there. What could you tell us from behind the wheel of your car?
We're racing 3 wide there. We're struggling with our handling of the car. We're going to finish probably 12th, 15th. The guys were doing a good job. And by the time I saw them, it was nothing I could do. I was 3 wide, and I guess the 2 wrecked the 8, and the track was blocked there, and I was doing all I could. Just hated for our guys. We don't have many cars, so tearing up race cars is not a good thing. So just appreciate everybody's support, and yeah, just nothing I could do there. So bad deal.
Bad deal indeed.
You hear the frustration in Jeb's voice. Had a long conversation with him this week, and he feels like they've been doing a good job. His team's been doing a good job, and they've had some things just not go their way, and feels like they could have much better finishes along the way.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be a top 15 car today, as now the field making their way potentially for the last time onto pit road, Kim.
And AJ Allmendinger saying we're good 20 to 25 laps in. We just need to fire off a little better, especially if this thing stays green, as you see taking fresh tire there, Marty.
Yes, this is enough Sunoco fuel, Kim, to get them to the very end. How about the run for Landon Castle, leading laps for the first time in 7 years. Oh, a long time on the right front there. We'll see what that costs him in terms of track position. Let's see how Austin Dillon's crew comes through for Sheldon Creed. RCR trying for back-to-back wins. A moment ago, Noah Gregson told his crew chief Luke Lambert, he asked him, how's the car? He said, I like it. Can Gregson turn one of his worst racetracks into one of his better ones and get a win? Gregson had to go around the 07 and lost some track position. Austin Dillon's crew delivers for Sheldon Creed. He's out front.
Noah Gregson getting around the 07 might be some of the best driving I've seen on pit road this year.
And we'll have the choose roll when we come back. An amazing finish in front of us here from the Magic Mile. And could it be a driver like Landon Castle who gets to victory lane after he's had a very successful start to this race? Drivers like Brandon Brown, Anthony Alfredo, they are still out on track after coming to pit road a little bit earlier, and also once again involved in an unfortunate incident, not of his making. Myatt Snyder out of the race, and Kim standing by with him.
Myatt Snyder, another one of the drivers that got caught up in that incident. What happened?
You know, I didn't see it directly from my vantage point, but I did see a replay in the care center, and it looked like the 2 spun the 8, and I don't really know why, because it's got almost 100 laps to go in the race, barely halfway through, and we're spinning people out, and you know, everybody's trying to get all the speed they can here. So once you have to shift from going fast to going slow, it's not an easy transition to make. So hate that a whole bunch of good race cars got torn up, including our Bomberito Autosport and Lucas Oil Chevy Camaro. But proud of all the boys from Jordan Anderson Racing for bringing a great race car, and we had some speed today, and you know, we'll make it back up in Pocono.
Clearly a frustrating afternoon for Myatt Snyder.
And already looking ahead to Pocono next weekend as we're under 70 laps to go here at New Hampshire.
So Rick, you know, you talked to 2 drivers now that have talked about the contact between the 2 and the 8, and there's definite contact, but I'm not willing to put that on Creed's shoulders. I mean, I think there was contact, but I don't think he intentionally went in there to spin the 8. I think 2 guys went for the same real estate and ended up having the 8 spun around backwards. And we start to see the choose, and it's important because not only which lane, but some new players right here. Brandon Brown, Anthony Alfredo on the front stretch. So, Josh Berry climbing out. Looks like his day might be done. This car's on the entrance to pit road. This might have to wave off the restart.
Yep.
Because he's on the entrance. So I don't know what happened, but there's definitely some smoke, and Josh felt like he had to get out of the car. So obviously something from his different issues over the course of the day has caused this car to retire. So a lot of conversation about the contact. Let's take a listen to the 2 radio.
Yeah, man, I didn't mean to do that. I got to him trying to pack air, and I don't know, got him looser than I thought I would.
Yeah, I sat down and talked to the 8 Sheldon. He's like, yeah, we definitely came down on you, so he's taking all of that.
So there's a situation where both drivers agree, which we don't see that very often when 2 drivers have contact with each other.
Yeah, drivers.
So did you say they agree?
Well.
So they both think it was their fault? Is that what you?
That's what they agree on.
Okay.
Both agree it wasn't mine.
So you know, Jeff, you said it the best, Rick. You know, in today's age, and we've talked a lot about whether it's Chastain in the Cup Series or nowhere at Road America and all these aggression and very forceful moments. Sometimes it's just racing, right? Sometimes it's Creed saying, yes, I got as close as I could to pass him. And Barry tried to squeeze him to the apron because that's what you do. And sometimes racing just runs out of real estate, and that's what happened in that situation.
And the 8, again, they're working on it, and continue to see smoke coming out from inside the cockpit of that car.
I don't know what exactly the issue is, but it is not good.
So again, Josh Berry involved in the turn 2 incident. You see the flames? Yeah, flames coming from under the hood there.
Exactly, Rick, under that right front.
Get on the apron, roll with the
there, you can see it, and he's doing exactly what you're supposed to do.
Fire
right?
went out.
Get to a safe location and exit the vehicle. I love that he got off the racetrack, Jeff.
Well, he also said, you heard he said a fire went out. That's an automatic fire system.
Go on, take it to the garage there, Josh. Take it to the garage.
It reaches a certain temperature, and it automatically goes out to put that fire out.
Take it to the garage or get out of it. One of the 2. And Josh chose get out of it. So he climbed out of the 8. They are going to tow that back into the garage. And the restart waved off. So we'll go a couple more laps here before we see the green flag. Now you have Brandon Brown, Anthony Alfredo. They're running out front. And the 10 of Landon Castle, who was leading before he came to pit road, looks like he's going to be around 11th on the restart.
Yeah, and we've got some cars that stayed out, some that did too. So it's all mixed up. But if you really think about it, with who he was racing, he lost 4 spots on pit road with a bad pit stop. This has been a struggle pretty much all year for this team. They've not had solid pit stops, not been consistent. And on this day, Steve, if you give up track position, will you ever get it back? It's frustrating for a driver to lose spots on pit road. Landon's got to stay focused here, though. He can't get himself caught up about what could have been, what should have been. Go make something happen.
Yeah, on the left side in the pylon, you see last pit lap. So Brown and Weatherman, they're going to need some fuel. They can't quite make it. But Alfredo LeBay and Hill, I believe, have enough fuel in the tank to make it to the finish. So, you know, they were just on pit road a few laps ago. Can they use this flip a track position to try to get them a good finish? I think the move for Brown and Weatherman is to try to get out, run a little bit, and then put tires on later than everyone else and have some fresher tires for maybe a 20-lap sprint to the finish. So they're trying to get a little fortunate on the yellows.
See that 19 car, that yellow car on the outside lane. He opted to put 2 tires on, and he beat almost everybody that will hit pit road. He beat them off to get that track position. Kim.
Ryan Sieg went for a wild ride. Are you okay? And could you tell what was happening when Jeb got into the back of you?
No, I had no idea. I just checked up for the wreck, and then all of a sudden the 8 was sliding backwards. Just, damn, that sucks because our car was really good. We were, you know what I mean? They found some things and it worked out today, and you know what I mean? I was just riding right there trying to just get towards the front more and just trying to get some of our track position back. Just sucks for our CMR guys. We work hard, you know what I mean? We're all in there digging at the shop together, and just sucks because now we have no results for it. We got something to build off of for Pocono, and we'll carry on there, and should be good. So we'll have our CMR Ford up front.
Ryan Sieg definitely have something to build off of. They had a great stage 1, grabbing lots of stage points.
Yeah, I agree, Kim. A lot of stage points, good speed in this 39, and great to see Ryan okay. When cars go vertical like that, you know, when you hit a wall, while it's never good, the restraint system really holds you fore aft. You know, the seat itself maybe left or right, but that vertical moment is scary for a race car driver. You know, the belts hold you in when you're trying to come out of the seat, but when you squash back down, right, it's easy. We've seen injuries of compressed backs and necks and things, so it's great to see Ryan out of the car and talking to Kim.
Yeah, you're exactly right, man. You get that compression, and that's, trust me, I know, you know, that's how you can potentially hurt bats, etc. when the car lands like that. Think about
Eric Almirola
at Kansas, and it is definitely, Steve said it best, not a situation a driver wants to be in.
Let's head down to the Peacock pit box with Brad and DJ.
All right, Brad, so now this has changed a whole lot. Looks like that we put all the numbers in a hat and then just threw some out. Got a lot of different players up here on different situations. What do you think on this restart?
Well, you've got Brown, you've got Alfredo, Weatherman, these guys up front. They haven't been up front in a while in any of these races, so they're going to go for it. They're going to absolutely dig in, try to hold that position. I mean, there's only 66 laps to go. That's a short track race on a Friday night. So I think, first of all, we're not through with cautions. And I'm interested to see where William Byron ends up after we get through this next run. He has worked himself through a little bit of, you know, wrecks and things like that back into position, but he's got a fast race car and a lot of experience.
Yeah, no doubt it played right into his hand. And you talk about the short amount of time to go. Patience has run out by this point for these drivers.
Absolutely.
And a lot of them are really looking at this great opportunity, including Landon Castle, to go get that win this afternoon, Rick.
We will see if Landon Castle has something for the field. Again, a lot of different strategies. The guys that came on lap 127 leading that group would be Brandon Jones in the 19. Landon Castle is back there. He will restart in the 12th position.
So, Rick, I'd love to tell you where you should be watching, but you better have your eyes peeled really wide.
We'll go wide.
Brown and Alfredo on the front row, as we just heard from the pit box, they're going to be aggressive. You just heard Brad say, you know, what's in front of them, and there's no doubt, I agree with them, they're going to go for all they are worth. But as you get down, you know, the players that we thought were in position to win this race are in traffic now. And 2, 3, 4 wide, Jeff, they're going to try to get as much real estate as possible.
Well, when that 21 car of Austin Hill was on pit road on lap 118, you said, I love this call, and this is why. Now they stayed out. He's got 4 tires on from lap 118. That only has 4 or 5 laps more on his tires on the green than everybody else, and he is starting in 5th. So can he take advantage of that? You loved it, Steve, and that's why.
Yeah, good track position. Safety trucks were still on, so we had to wave off the restart one more time.
It's a great Saturday afternoon of racing. And remember, tomorrow it's the Cup Series turn. And also remember, it's a new car. They're shifting. Bigger brakes. Countdown to green right here on USA at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Cup Series racing. And again, 3 o'clock also NTT IndyCar Series. And that is on Peacock exclusively. Kim.
Josh Berry out of the race after contact with the 2 of Sheldon Creed, and there was back and forth. Whose fault was it? So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I don't, I was kind of watching it there under the red flag. Like, I was super free, and I washed up a little bit, and he kind of got there, and I think I probably should have left him a little bit more room, but at the same time, I kind of thought he could maybe take a little bit of that apron and not clip me, but looked like he kind of used the opportunity to just skip me. So it's racing. It was a racing deal. You know, we fought hard. Finally got up there, was just fired off a little too free there, and but day's over.
Josh Berry cool-headed after that.
Yeah, Josh Berry giving his side of the story. This restart's huge. We got old tires on the front. We saw at the beginning of this race how bottled up they get. So many times we see accidents. Let's see if we can get through a clean start here.
Anthony Alfredo not in the gas quick enough as Brandon Brown jumps out to a quick lead. Alex LeBay in the 36 on the inside, moving up for second.
And the 10 of Landon Castle, I'm not sure that was the racetrack. That was the apron into turn 1 and continues through the apron in 1 and 2, 4 wide in spots.
Austin Hill in the 21. Now it's 4 wide again. Here comes Sheldon Creed. He takes second away on the high side.
What a great move by Sheldon Creed.
As the 83 gets high, and that is
Anthony
the
Alfredo,
23,
yep.
yeah. Alfredo lost some positions, but now the battle's up front, trying to get the track position. The 10 of Castle inside the 21 is the rest of these guys. There's William Byron. We hadn't seen him for a while. He's right back in the mix in that white and blue 88.
Literally in the mix, right in the middle of it all.
Landon doing a nice job right here in this 10 car. Got some positions, was aggressive, made it work. You see right here, using those new tires, charging inside the 21 of Hill.
Getting as much of the new as he can. Here comes Sheldon Creed for the lead. And Creed out in front now at New Hampshire.
We talk about new winners on the Cup Series and what it would do to the playoff picture. Well, Sheldon Creed is that guy in the Xfinity Series, right? So he's currently on the outside looking in. A win by Creed would upset the playoffs quite a bit.
Look at Allmendinger on the outside, but Brandon Jones in the 19 inside or in the middle of 3 wide, and there's contact made. Allgaier on the outside, Trevor Bayne on the inside.
You see the damage on Trevor Bayne, the right front fender. This car is not going to drive well like that. Not sure if that came off all that or that happened earlier.
William Byron, you see the 88 now coming back into the picture.
So Jeff, William Byron, I mean, this is such full contact. Does he try to be a little more polite being a Cup regular? Does he not care at this point? Like, how do you have to race if you're William Byron?
Yeah, William Byron has to show these guys respect. They're racing for points. He's going to be aggressive, but he's not going to be over-aggressive. It's not his personality anyway, but yes, when you come to this series, you are a visitor here, and you should treat the point guys with respect.
Sheldon Creed stretched that lead out to almost a second, doing a nice job. The battle is right here, though. LeBay in the 36. We see Alex run well at road courses at times. Happy to see him have this good of a car here at the Oval. It was strategy that got him here. Oh, contact! Allmendinger in the 16. Now the 19 of Jones around. Big damage on the nose of the 19.
Outside.
Hard hit on the inside wall for Brandon Jones. Caution once again coming out. J.J. Yaley with some damage to the left front.
It all started between the 36 and the 16 and some judgment off of turn 4. Who thought was clear, whether there was a car there or not. Really, we saw this with the 45 and the 7 earlier. Let's get an idea here.
It gets really tight off turn 4, and you want to clear yourself to get in that top lane as quickly as you can.
We had seen Alex LeBay falling back in the field a bit after the restart as waiting to get Brandon Jones out of the 19. AMR safety crew once again to him.
So the 36 is absolutely up to the door of the 16. And the 16 just moves up like he doesn't think he's there. So whether it was on purpose or he was chasing his race car, I don't know. But either way is another look at it.
Well, I think right there what's happened is Allmendinger's gotten up the track and gotten into him. And now the car is on his right rear quarter panel. And now he can't turn left. Now it's shoving him to the right. But you can see right here, Allmendinger got loose, and now he's up the racetrack. And now the contact's coming, and with that contact in the right rear quarter panel, it's just shoving the front of the nose into the wall. And then look like the Brandon Jones sees it happening. He tries to get slowed down, but behind him, he doesn't get slowed down. Can't make out who that car is.
I think it's...
Oh, look at that hit by Brandon Jones.
Big hit by Brandon. Brandon
to your point, Jones didn't have a time to slow down. He just turned left because he doesn't want to run into the two cars. And unfortunately, that white car, I believe it was the O2 of Moffitt,
Yeah, Moffitt.
which he was just there. I mean, it's a stacked up thing. Everybody's just looking for a way by.
That's right. The initial problem started with contact on corner exit. Let's listen to A.J. Allmendinger.
He told me he was outside. Told me he was there on the outside. Frank, how? I never knew he was there, man. He never left. He was still there.
Yeah, so Frank Denny Jr., the spotter, is, look, I never called you clear. You were in the corner, and he was on the outside of you. I never said he wasn't on the outside of you. AJ was wanting to hear more information, and Frank's like, hey, you went in the corner side by side with me. I called him outside, and I never cleared you, so you should have known he was there. That's driver-spotter communication. They'll sit down and have a conversation on Monday about that. You hear the frustration in AJ's voice, but then also the frustration from the spotter.
Kim.
And AJ, very frustrated to your point, so much so he continued on the radio and he said, I'm done. I'm going straight to the garage. They had to kind of back him off the ledge and they said, no, AJ, bring it to us. Let us look at it. Let us see if we can salvage this race. So AJ extremely hot behind the wheel of that 16 car you see right there.
And pulling out, I believe he hit a jack stand with the right rear. So hopefully that didn't cut the right rear. He was coming out of his pit stall. A frustrated driver for sure in A.J. Allmendinger.
Well, AJ's AJ's a fiery guy. He fires it off and lets you know exactly what he's thinking, then he gets over it. And listen, you got a torn up race car, had a good day going, got another driver involved in the wreck, multiple drivers, feel horrible about it.
Now that we got something going with the right side there as the sparks were coming out.
So let's go back and watch this. So AJ right now drives in the corner and he's got this car on the outside of him. So his spotter is saying, look, he's on the outside of you. I never called you clear. I never said he wasn't there. So you should know he was there. And he clearly starts coming up the racetrack. No thought that he's even there. So AJ, for some reason, thought he was clear. And the spotter saying, I never called you clear.
And now to the counter, because I can understand what the spotter's saying, I also have worked with different spotters that on every corner exit, if they're not clear, you get an update, right? You go in, car outside on entry, still outside in the middle, and even if they get off the button, as they come to the wall, what's normal for that spotter? I've had other spotters that say, still out there, still out there. Obviously, he didn't feel he had to call it. Well, back in New Hampshire, Rick Sheldon Creed, the two currently leading. How did he get here? Look at this run, Jeff. You always say restarts. Well, right here, he's what, fifth, maybe sixth in line, losing a little bit of time, but he turns down to the bottom, gets in the gas off turn 2, and squeezes through this 4 wide. A great move by Sheldon Creed.
It's almost like he said, okay, I'm going to follow my teammate Austin Hill, and then the hole opened, and he's like, I'm going there, and got real aggressive and jumped in that hole and took advantage of it.
That was Sheldon Creed out in front. Landon Castle is going to restart second. We just don't know which lane they are going to choose. Again, coming up next, right here on USA, live from Lime Rock Park, it's IMSA Racing. It will be live in its entirety after this race here. So Sheldon Creed, Landon Castle will have the decision as to which lane they want to restart in. Marty.
Boy, the other one on that replay you saw a moment ago was Landon Castle. All the way down at the bottom of the racetrack is crew chief Jason Trincheri. Maybe the best race of the year for you guys, Jason?
Yeah, definitely. We kind of knew Landon was pretty good here, and our car's been on. Even in practice, we were pretty good. This whole car anomaly Chevy, everybody would call it racing. It's been a good turn. I mean, we've had some of our struggles earlier. Sorry, everybody going by. Had some struggles earlier in the year, but it's nice to put a race together for once.
Saw the choose there. Castle went high, Creed went low. I think that probably surprised the 10 bunch as much as anyone, guys.
So,
Marty, it surprised us too.
So yeah, the mayor threw his hands up, and I had my hands up as well. If they asked me as a crew chief, Jeff, I'd say take the outside. I always take the outside. I think you could roll the exit of turn 2 better. Sheldon Creed took the bottom. Are you surprised that he's done this?
I am surprised. I personally think that Castle chose the bottom earlier. It didn't work out for him. I think Castle said, hey man, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Creed gave Castle exactly what he wanted right here. Now, Creed decided this. He's got to go make it work. You got to put it on your shoulders and find a way to make this thing happen.
And he could have started in front of his teammate. This is a head-scratching moment for me, Vic. I won't lie.
Well, guess what, guys? There's 51 laps remaining in this race. When they get the green, we're back underway. Sheldon Creed on the inside. Castle on the outside, side by side into turn 1 for the lead.
And Landon Castle right here. This is why I was concerned, because the top should be able to get momentum if Castle can get the power down on corner exit.
Creed's loose on the bottom.
We saw it look like maybe Allgaier or even William Byron that tagged the wall coming out of 2.
There you go, new leader from the top, the 10 of Castle. Although, as I said, that he cooks it off into turn 3.
He just got in there too deep.
Sheldon Creed fighting back on the inside.
Now Creed is under attack from Allgaier, trying to take second from him.
He's got a little bit of smoke there on the right front, too, it looks like. So maybe an issue for Creed.
Creed went from leading to running third, and now his teammates underneath him. Oh, and he's hot.
And he's waving, and that's not the friendly wave.
Oh, he is not happy. Some of that frustration, though, his teammate Austin Hill was in the rear, in his back bumper, and kind of got him messed up. But some of that frustration is he was leading the race, and now he's running third.
And might lose that spot. Austin Hill's coming up on the inside. Fight for the lead, though. Here comes Allgaier on the outside.
I mean, we talk about all the favorites. They've had all these issues. Allgaier's like, well, I mean, if you guys are going to all have issues, I'm going to come up here and show how I've had such a great, successful Xfinity Series career, just kind of always being around, always having a chance. And look at the top. This is what the top does. I believe if you're defending your position, you have to make the car behind go to the bottom. Pass me by trying to get the power down. You just can't let cars to your outside. And here's why. Because Landon's going to do the best he can, but it gets so flat there. The left rear, look at him, he's going to be loose, and the 7 is going to accelerate off the top. Now William Byron, he says, man, I want to get up there and race with my teammate. Oh, the 7 gets a little high.
So William Byron, if he can clear Sheldon Creed right here. Sheldon with a big run on the outside. And William is going to try to drive in the corner a little bit deeper than Sheldon. See him wash up the racetrack. Sheldon's not going to give this spot up. Sheldon's an aggressive race car driver. He's going to take the fight to William Byron.
Drive one-handed, we just saw it.
Sheldon Creed, the 2018 ARCA Racing Series champion, the 2020 Truck Series champion. Sheldon not backing down to the former Xfinity Series champion, William Byron.
When you see 3 wide, which is now 2 wide, the 18 of Trevor Bayne trying to get back up in the mix, that Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota.
How about this race? We got a battle all over the place.
Noah Gragson back in the picture in the 9.
He saw the 2 of Creed loose on corner exit. Well, William Byron saw that too. So William now knows that's his weak point. So William trying to get to that left rear quarter panel, get him loose just like that, drive underneath him, and now William's hoping to get some forward momentum. If he can have forward momentum going into turn 1, now he can drive deeper into the corner, slide up the racetrack, and even if Creed drives underneath him, He doesn't care because he's got the preferred line. Great job by William Byron.
It's like using a scalpel right there. It was just so impressive watching him. And the 18 of Trevor Bayne continues the battle with a 9 of Gregson Marty.
Yeah, time for the Toyota driver update, and that is Trevor Bayne slicing through the field there, trying to get past Sheldon Creed and get 2 for 1 down there in turns 3 and 4. Remember, they had the damage in that accident earlier on. They were able to come down and fix it, and you can see that right front still not right on the 18, but Sheldon Creed getting passed there by the 18 of Trevor Bayne. Nice comeback for this group.
Trevor Bayne has fought back. He is back up inside the top 5, running in the 4th position. Toyota looking pretty lonely up here as Chevrolets are dominant. And now the 88 sounds as though they have a problem. And they've been talking back to the crew chief. William Byron thinks it might be blowing up. Marty.
Yep, he said the gauges just went dark, and you can hear it, Steve, sputtering down the straightaway. A moment ago, they said just run it out, but I think he said, I'm going to come down pit road. But obviously the 88, who a moment ago under caution or in the commercial break, we were all saying, what's the fastest car? Looked like he might win the race now with an engine issue.
Yeah, but if you look at the tail of this race car, it's obviously changing colors. That's usually an indication some sort of fluid is leaking.
Yeah,
it usually blows up, sticks on the tail, then all the debris.
Just stumbling off the chip. Like
stumbling off the chip. Remember earlier we saw some fluid on, I think it was Josh Berry's camera when he was running behind the 88. So I don't know if this is a leak that the 88's had that's developed due to an engine issue, or if an issue with the engine has created the leak. But you look at the rear bumper, it has definitely changed colors. I believe this is going to be the end of the day for the 88. But I'll tell you, the race for the lead's heating up with Castle in the 7.
Yes, it is. 88 of William Byron might be out of this race, but tomorrow he will be back with the Cup Series. Countdown to green starting at 2 o'clock, and racing for the Cup Series here at the Magic Mile is starting at 3 o'clock. And remember, the IndyCar racing at 3 o'clock exclusively on Peacock. IMSA racing coming up next. You will see it in its entirety at the conclusion of this Xfinity Series race from here at New Hampshire. And as you mentioned, Steve, it is heating up front. Allgaier has the lead, but now Landon Castle is starting to close that gap once again.
So Jeff, you and I were having a line debate. Now they're kind of running the same line now, but earlier the 10 was rolling right around the first lane, almost Tony Stewart-esque. You know, that was how Tony made his living around New Hampshire. He ran very low and saved those rear tires, and it seemed to really work. Let's see if the 10 goes back to it again. Nope, now he's up into that third lane, and it's working. He's gaining on the 7.
Yeah, so it's your approach as a driver, Steve, changes throughout the run. So you cannot drive your car as hard on lap 30 as you can on lap 2. And what do you have to change as a driver? Where do you put the car? And that could be different on lap 20 versus lap 50. And you got to always be evaluating what's the best place to put your car. Landon Castle also, you know, he has a little bit of deficiency because he's behind that 7 car, so he doesn't have as much downforce. So now, can I go somewhere he's not? Can I make lap time like that? And so far, Landon doesn't feel like he can do that later in this run.
And on the bottom of the screen, you see what the challenge is for a car like Noah Gragson. I believe he's faster than the 2, but he's not able to get there. And another thing, you know, we talk about what happens on the racetrack and how it carries over. Noah, with all of the noise around him, with the penalty and all of those different things, this is when that really is going to affect the 9. Because normally you could go up in there and kind of bump a guy and go on by. But say he bumps him, it just gets him a little too hard and spins the 2. Now the whole field is going to be like, oh, here's Noah again, making another cut. You know, you kind of have lost a few tools out of his toolbox, which is unfortunate, but I'm not sure if it's unfair. Noah's put himself in this position, and he's just going to have to be more patient than perhaps he would have been, because before that, a little bump and go was basically New Hampshire racing.
Well, you're almost explaining to me Ross Chastain also there, where you have a microscope on a guy after a couple incidents have happened. And so Noah Gragson now will have to work extra hard if he wants to get by Sheldon Creed.
Well, Sheldon's certainly not just going to pull over for him. And we talked about changing your lanes and trying something different. 2 laps ago, that 10 car of Castle went to the bottom. Went back to the bottom and 1 and 2 like he was earlier in the run, and it just didn't work for him. The 7 drove back away from him. So now he's made that adjustment and moved back up the racetrack and is starting to break even with Allgaier getting killed.
And Justin finished 3rd 2 races ago here. He finished 2nd last year here. So it's trending in the direction of winning this race. But when I talked to him this morning, he was honest. He said, we're not going to lead every lap. That's certainly been the case because they only started leading 3/4 of the race into today. So Justin Allgaier out front. He also said, we're really good on the long run. So that's going to be key. This team hopes it stays green, so they'll see what they have for this last long run ahead of Landon Castle. Marty?
Kim, a moment ago, you heard Jason Trincheri, the crew chief for Landon Castle, right behind Justin Allgaier, say, we knew coming here, this is one of Landon's best racetracks today. He has been outstanding at saving tires early in a run and being very good on the long run. Look how much ground he gained there in 3 and 4 on the 7. Has he saved enough in those good years to be able to make this pass? But on the bottom of your screen, how about Noah Gragson having the best run he's ever had at New Hampshire? There he goes for 4th, Rick.
Definitely takes that low line, and he'll slide up in front of the 2 of Sheldon Creed.
And spotless. No contact at all. Well done by Noah. Patience were tested. He passed that with flying colors. Worked his way by the 2 of Creed. On the left side, you see the pylon. Brandon Brown running in 9th. I'm a little concerned he might have to come for fuel as we go back in and check for the lead. Bailey Curry in 10th. Jeff, 1 career top 10 and 91 starts. Looking good in that 4 car in the 10th position. And looks like he might even be able to move up. There's Brandon Brown on the bottom of your screen. I'm a little worried. He was last on pit road, lap 93, and there's Curry. Great run for the 4 car inside the top 10.
At the top of your screen, you heard Marty say how much ground the 10 made up. He's doing it all on corner entry into turn 3. It cost him on corner exit some, but he gains 2 car lengths on corner entry and loses 1 car length on corner exit. So overall, he's gaining just a little bit. The problem with that, Steve, is how you're going to use that to pass, right? So just drive. Oh, some smoke there. The 13 car.
Yep, caution has come out.
Put it neutral and coast in.
Ecanorio got up in the 13. Looks as though an issue with that car. And sure
there
enough,
you go. Come on
he
down
gets off
access
the
road.
racetrack and on the access road here through 3 and 4. So a restart, Jeff, you said those are the most important.
Well, yeah, but before we get to the restart, let's open pit road and give everybody a chance. I just mentioned Brandon Brown and my concern for coming to get fuel. Well, here he is, running 9th. 26 to go. He's got the yellow he was looking for. He might have a set of tires. We're going to get a report, hopefully, from pit road at some point if they could take a look and see if he has a set of stickers left. You know, if he could put tires on, there's only 19 cars in the lead lap. You know, it's hard to pass, and you would rather have track position, but it's just another observation or another team trying to figure out how can they have an opportunity. This team's looking to have another good run. They had that win last year at Talladega. This has not been the year the 68 have been hoping for. They've had some business things go awry with some sponsorship that kind of didn't work out. So can he turn this, you know, I'll call it a little bit of a Hail Mary. It's a good calculated gamble, and now he's going to get lucky with this yellow.
And the question will be, is 25 or 24 laps enough time to make fresher tires work out? We'll be back for the restart.
$25 laps to go here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Justin Allgaier in that 7 is currently your leader. Justin's had a very interesting season so far. He entered this year on a lengthy losing streak, but was able to make that come to an end earlier this season with a win at Darlington. You know, I talked with Justin a few weeks ago, and he gave us a lengthy explanation as to where his mindset is this season. And he said, as a veteran, he's had to make quite an adjustment with how he views week-to-week responsibilities. Justin's been running in this series for many years now and has found a number of races when it comes to success, but this year he said he's looking at things a bit differently. He's having to focus on each race ahead of him, and he's not getting so hung up on tracks that he feels necessarily fit his driving style. He says, I'm taking a step back. I'm trying to not look at the season as a whole from a veteran standpoint and just take things week to week and see what I can continue to learn here even throughout many years of my career. Things are paying off well for that 7 today. With one win this season, he's looking to get his second this afternoon at New Hampshire.
A reminder at the conclusion of our race, it is IMSA Racing. Brian Till, Calvin Fish on the call from Lime Rock Park. You will see it in its entirety again at the conclusion of our race here with just under 23 laps to go. You saw the grandstands looking great. You also saw those campers. So many people here enjoying the weekend, and it will continue tomorrow. Countdown to green at 2 o'clock. Cup Series racing from New Hampshire right here on USA Race Team Broadcast. It'll be a lot of fun to listen in. And then, of course, also at 3 o'clock on Peacock exclusively is IndyCar Racing. Once again, 9 cautions for today's race. It was Ogata that brought out the caution.
Saw the smoke come out of the pipes. Clearly a engine problem.
Well, we had mentioned some opportunity for some cars to come to pit road, and a handful did. The first one off of pit road with fresh tires, the 68 of Brandon Brown, and better than I had thought, Rick. 19 cars in the lead lap, but enough cars pitted. He left pit road in 13th. Here's the choose right here on the front row. Okay, Allgaier takes the top. Jeff, we were just talking, we didn't think the bottom would work. Allgaier's giving the top a shot.
Yeah, I think that's the best choice.
So now Brandon Brown with the freshest tires is going to be on the inside of his row. We saw him choose the inside.
And I want to add the 51 also of Jeremy Clements also had a set of tires. So 2 cars, 2 drivers that have won races in their careers. They have not won this year. You know, it would be kind of the shot heard around the playoffs if either of those cars could get up. Now listen, with 22 to go, they're going to have to get a little luck with traffic, maybe one more yellow, but great calls by their 2 crew chiefs to give their teams the best chance at a great finish.
Speaking of great finishes, Chevrolet, it's been since 2007, and Kevin Harvick since they've won here in the Xfinity Series. That's a long time, 15 years, and now you see a lot of Chevrolets up front, and Trevor Bayne is that Toyota that wants to spoil it for the Chevrolets.
Yeah, we see everybody on the front. Then you have Moffitt in 8th, Curry in 9th, Weatherman in 10th, Williams in 11th. A lot of guys having a chance for a good day.
21 laps to go. Matt Lydek showing him the green flag once again. Brandon Brown ducking to the inside. He'll make a 3 wide, trying to make use of those fresh tires as the 10 easily clears the 7 of Allgaier.
Landon Castle did a great job of getting a launch on that restart. He made the bottom work. We didn't think he could, and he made it work. Great job on the launch.
Yeah, I was so happy the 7 took the top for the 7. I thought he was going to make it work. The 10 proves us wrong. Driving for his first career win out front with the 7 breathing down his neck.
Now 20 laps to go.
Let's go back and watch this. Watch Landon Castle. He lays back a little bit. He's waiting to hear 7. He guesses a little bit, and he guessed right. And then Allgaier went to go, and Landon had the motion going forward, the momentum going forward. But this fight isn't over. Allgaier going to the inside.
Here comes Allgaier for the lead. Looks to the inside of Castle. Can't make that happen. But the pressure is on. Noah Gragson coming into the picture as well.
So that changes the game, Noah being in the battle, because now the 7 of Allgaier, he's got to be smart about what he does. If he tries something that doesn't work, he could give up second.
Almost into the wall. We saw the 10 of Castle. Here comes the 7. Allgaier looks to the inside for the lead.
Allgaier drove it in the corner. Going to get up the racetrack. The 10 just could not keep as low as he wanted to.
Take it and then watch the crossover. Great information from the roof.
Eddie DeHunt giving him that information.
Oh, Allgaier tried to squeeze him, getting into the corner.
Nose to tail, and once again, Castle right up against the wall coming out of 2. And now Gragson looks to the inside, trying to take that second spot away.
Noah keeping his left sides right on that white line. We've talked about it multiple times that there's no banking down there. That's why it's difficult to pass. Landon really needing to keep this second spot in case we get another caution so we can restart on that front row. Noah wants the same, though.
Well, another driver, as we see these guys look to the top of your screen. The 2 got a little loose. This is a great battle right here. But how about this 68 of Brandon Brown up inside the top 5? If he can complete this pass on the 2 car, he drives in with those fresh tires, trying to slide up. I think he's going to get it as the battle for second rages on.
And even in that battle, Steve, Brandon Brown with those tires, the fastest lap on the racetrack, even racing other drivers.
Inside the top 5, Brandon Brown. Great pit strategy for the 68. He's trying to close it up, but second to 4th, very tight. Here comes the 18. Trevor Bayne looking to the inside of Noah Gragson.
And you can just see, you know, if you can get to the bottom, it's all about carrying enough speed to clear the car in front of you. Now the 9's going to look for the crossover. He's unable to do it. Will he turn left on corner entry? He's going to try, but that 18 has that shallow entry. That opens the door for the 68. As both of these slide up, Brandon Brown's going to try to get a nice straight run off the corner.
If Brandon has a shot at this race, he's got to clear these 2 guys quickly. He cannot get caught up behind them with only 15 to go.
As you mentioned it, fastest laps on the racetrack for the 68 car, even catching other cars. This is the corner. He has to kind of make this work. He can't keep getting bogged down behind him.
It just wasn't able to stay close enough to Noah right there. So now to the bottom of the racetrack he goes. Noah gives it to him, knowing how difficult it will be to clear to him on corner exit. Brandon just can't get that momentum he needs.
Yeah, now those new tires are starting to get warm. They're starting to lose a little bit of grip. You know, for the lead or for second, the 68 could be a little bit more aggressive, but back here for fifth, you still have to race with some patience. Here we go. We're going to leave door to door.
Yeah, but still the momentum on that outside lane. Allgaier out front by almost a second on Castle.
Once again, Brandon Brown diving to the inside, the 28-year-old from Woodbridge, Virginia.
Well, with Ryan Sieg out of the race, he's the last car in the playoffs. Brandon Brown is 13th currently. Where he's running, he has this gap under 80 points. So, you know, he's trying to race his way into the playoffs, not just with a win, but with points. There we go. Now he's by the 9, kind of slide up and take this spot away. How much did he hurt his tires, though? Can he put a lap together now that he has the cleaner air and try to run the 18 down? 12 laps to go.
Yeah, it took him a long time to clear the 9.
Sliding there a bit as he trying to tuck in behind the 18 of Bain. But Bain still running strong, 1.6 seconds behind Allgaier.
I had a conversation with the crew chief of the 68, Doug Randolph, in the garage area. As you see some slipping out of the rear tires now, you know, are you pushing too hard? Is the tires going away? And Doug had just talked about the challenges they've had this year and what it would mean to have a good run, and his experience is showing off with just a big gamble for this 68. Now he has to be a little bit calm and not give a position back, right?
Yeah, and even though he has tires, we know that this team doesn't have the funding of all the guys that he's racing against. So, you know, he needed to be able to, with those tires, just clear guys quicker than he was able to. Now, that advantage of tire, Steve, it started to go away.
Yep, now you got to look back almost in front of these two. Now Noah's back to his inside. It's Allgaier by almost a second and a half over Castle, who Trevor Bain has closed in on.
Gregson takes that spot back away from Brandon Brown. And Allgaier has a 1.6 second lead over this fight for second.
You mentioned that Bain wants this spot. First of all, at second, you want to run as best as you can, but if you get a restart, you want to have that choice to start on the front row.
That has to be your mindset, Steve, is that you're never out of this game. Track position matters, and you have to assume there's going to be a caution. You have to assume if you have a chance to win, you want to be in that front row. Bain to the second groove. Castle's still running that bottom. He's like that most of the day.
Allgaier, the last 2 races here, finished third and then second. Does he complete it and end up front? He's running first right now, under 10 laps to go, less than 9.
Well, Jeff, he told you yesterday that today was his wife's birthday, and you convinced me you had to buy her a car?
Ashley, I'm sure right now is yelling at the TV, "You're right, Jeff, you're right." Whew. Or she might be actually watching Harper play softball right now, because Harper, their daughter, very active in softball. Justin has talked a lot about that, how he continues to compliment her on her drive to do that. She's very competitive, just like her dad.
Yeah, speaking of drive, riding along with Trevor Bain, he is getting all he's got. He's got his hands moving all over the place right here as he tries to get underneath Castle, trying to lay the throttle down.
Now he turns in straight and very deep, almost to try to slide up in front of him, but Castle knows what he was trying to do. He rolls to his outside. Gonna make it so tough.
Great fight here as Castle and Bain trying to get that second spot. Bain with under 7 laps to go. Bain gets a little loose. Up the racetrack he goes. Very close to getting into the side of Castle.
Allgaier is exceptionally happy they didn't wreck right there, because he's rolling out front. Still the battle happening, though.
Yeah, they stay very tight. Bain trying to get that position away. Under 6 laps to go. This was how close it got in 3 and 4.
Yeah, right here, watch Trevor Bain drive into the corner, and right there, the back of the car comes around, chases it up the racetrack, contact. Good job by both drivers.
Yeah, Landon had to give him that extra space for sure. Now Bain clears the 10. And how about Noah doing a really nice job? Got back by the 68, let his stuff come to him, or cooling his tires, or maybe just a balance swing, but now he's going to try to take the 3rd position away from the 10 car.
Sliding inside there. And now Castle under fire once again. Under 4 laps to go for Allgaier. Bain, yeah, looking convincing in second.
And all the 7 wants us to run 4 green flag laps. You know, he has a big enough lead, enough experience that barring some sort of mechanical issue or a caution, he feels good about the day. But you got to start, you know, hearing things and wondering how long this is going to take.
We're seeing the 54 of Ty Gibbs coming back into the picture here, but multiple laps down for Ty.
And some names on the left side. We mentioned Jeremy Clements with those new tires. He's driven all the way back up to 7th, doing a nice job. Kyle Weatherman in 10th.
This fight continues. Noah Gragson has been patient as he looks to the inside of Castle once again for position. Now 2 laps to go for Allgaier.
Honestly, if you're Noah Gragson right now, you're wondering, what are you doing, Ty Gibbs? Why are you in this battle, man? You're taking air off my spoiler. You're messing me up.
2 wins already for Allgaier on the season. He won at Darlington. He won at Nashville. And now as he exits turn 4, he's going to see the white flag, and it's 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. And the drought looks to be over for Chevrolet at New Hampshire. We talked about the Joe Gibbs Racing stranglehold they had on this racetrack. 6 wins in a row for JGR, but it's been Junior Motorsports on the ovals here in 2022. And Allgaier is going to take Chevrolet back to victory lane at the Magic Mile.
Oh boy! Heck yeah! Excellent job, man. All I gotta tell you is thank you, boys, for keeping me calm. We could have just as easily gave that one away, and we did. So thank you, boys.
Well, veteran just does such a good job in this race car. It's so important to have someone like Justin Allgaier in this Xfinity Series where some of these younger drivers can look up to him, learn from him. And Allgaier and Bain are sitting there saying, I'm sorry, Bain and Castle are sitting there saying, where did he come from?
Yeah, right.
Happy birthday, Ashley.
That is a great birthday present. Not as good as the new car he has to buy her, but
you're sticking with that, huh?
Oh yeah, if you have to qualify an Xfinity car on a Friday in New Hampshire on your wife's birthday, you got to give her a car. That's the rule. Everybody does that.
Okay.
Great job by this entire team. You heard him. Giving the team credit, Steve. I love that.
He knows he's been around. He knows how easy this success can go away without a great group around him. And Kelly, Dale Jr., Pemberton, everybody at Junior Motorsports has assembled an impressive group over there of not just drivers, but engineers and crew chiefs. And it's showing this year. All of their cars, you mentioned, Rick, if you go to an oval, those Junior Motorsports cars are the ones to beat.
So Justin Allgaier, 36 years old. He just won his 19th career Xfinity Series race. We've talked about silly season. We've talked about drivers going from the Xfinity Series to the Cup Series. Can Allgaier throw his name in there as a potential driver? Or at the age of 36, is he too old to move into that series?
I don't think he's too old. I just don't think he wants to. I think he enjoys racing on Saturdays. You mentioned his wife, his daughters. What's so important to him is his family. And, you know, this is a high level of stock car racing. He's having a great job winning races. I think he really wants to win that elusive championship. And he wants to stay here until prove he can be the top of the podium for when it looks at the end of the year points. And that's what Justin Allgaier wants to do.
That's a great point, Steve. Winning an Xfinity championship is huge. And being able to be at home on Sundays with your kids is huge as well. And if you can do both and have a great quality of life, this is a huge series. It's not as big as Cup, no doubt, but it is a big deal to be in this Xfinity Series.
Justin climbing out of the car, celebrating here for the New Hampshire crowd. And with his team and his dad. They're on the front stretch with him. Marty.
What a team win. They did not take the lead until 48 to go. Chevy's first win here at New Hampshire in 15 years. Kevin Harvick, the last driver to do that. After all the talk about Toyota coming into the race, it's a Chevy with Justin Allgaier that winds up in victory lane. Did you hear all that talk coming into the race that, hey, this is a Toyota track, not a Chevy place? Did you guys have something to prove today?
We finished second last year to one. I told these guys I really wanted to win here. This place has been so much fun over the years. First of all, it's my wife's birthday today, so if I can't be with my wife on her birthday, the best way to do it is take home a trophy to her. Just proud of our team. You know, it was, I didn't do a good job early on the race. I apologize to Julie and the 45 team. I got into her. I just still don't know what happened, but I just feel bad no matter what the case was. And just felt like all day I just wasn't, I wasn't doing a good job. And the guys kept me calm, and we had great pit stops all day. Eddie DeHaan's awesome up on the spotter stand. And just really proud of this team, man. God's good, and you fans, thank you all for coming out. I told him before the race, it is so cool seeing all the fans lined up all around this place. This place never disappoints, and I love coming over here in New Hampshire.
Boy, this team is on an absolute roll. 3 wins in the last 8 races. Justin Allgaier, the winner at New Hampshire.
And again, a reminder, IMSA Racing in its entirety at the conclusion of our broadcast here, as all smiles on the driver of the 7, Justin Allgaier, getting his 3rd win of 2022, maybe forging himself out front as far as a favorite for the championship in 2022. A lot of racing still in front of us, and we'll hear from other drivers from right here at the track. The celebration definitely for the 7 team and Allgaier.